here meditating and pondering on the ways of the world today. Thinking of my people Africa and the state of the continent today. How mothers fed their children today. As granny goes down on her knees every day and prays. How many souls are dying from causes that could be prevented? If we did have leaders who cared for us today. Oh, 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 oh. Zion and Yahweh. Zion away. Zion away. Africa rise, young. Every 4 years, the politicians say he's your servant today. After you vote for them, they metamorphose into your masters. I say, have your say, we'll have our way, yeah. Not no strange, it's cow demon crosses. Meanwhile, souls are dying from causes that could be prevented. If we did have leaders who cared for us today. Zion and Yahweh. Zion away. Zion away.
Never ever quit, just a little bit longer. Victory is near, they're gonna disappear, go under. Leaders them no care, never tend to share. Babylon quit, the shedding of blood. Your heart a go suffer if you show no love. Stay away, consciousness. What the God the nation if for no righteousness? Cause makes all the children left.
I pray for the future generations not to give up this fight. I pray for the children of tomorrow not to sell out their birthright. Cause when I look afar, I see the strangers eating up your way. Another form of slavery is coming here again. And that's why people are dying. Causes that could be prevented. Oh yes, we do need some better leadership today. Oh, oh, oh. Zion and Yahweh. Zion away. Let's go. Zion away. As the day breaks, I see my people rising up again, shaking off all the shackles. I see my people shaking off those chains. The lion with the mane, blood of the slain will never be in vain. Never. No. We don't want to see no more people dying from causes that can be prevented.
No more
Richard better leadership today.
I pray.
Zion and Yahweh. Zion away. Ready. Culture. Culture. 1212 Radio Culture. Yes, indeed. Welcome once again to the live stream on a Sunday. It's morning where I am. What time is it where you're at? My name is Kwesi, his son, Baffour, and I'll be doing the comparing from Studio 1, USA. Reaching you via the magic of the internet, and I'm ably supported by my team in Studio 2, Kumasi, Ghana. Yes, indeed. On the show today, we bring you a slightly different format right now. But yes, you will definitely enjoy what we bring you today. We have 2 interviews for you, God willing, and internet allowing. But yes, on the first interview, we will bring you, we will be speaking with Kwaku Boahene. Kwaku Boahene is I should say, communicator for the governing National Democratic Congress. We will be talking about the 1 cedi per liter levy that's being put on fuel, right? Is it fuel products in general, or is it just petrol, as in gas? We will get to find that and more with Kwaku Boahene. We've had a lot of criticism about that. What are the pros? What are the cons? Should we really consider that? Is it even? Are we even having the right messengers sending that message? And do Ghanaians really understand what is going on? Do people really understand, or are people biting into the propaganda that is thrown out there daily on mainstream media? On the second interview, we'll be speaking about Ghana's food sovereignty. This is something that we don't speak about a lot. And when we do, we speak about it in pockets, and we speak about it over other people's heads. We're trying to bring the discourse home today. Today, we'll be speaking in the second interview, first of all, to Edwin Baffour. Edwin Baffour is spokesperson for Food Sovereignty Ghana. If you have been following the discourse about the fight against GMO in Ghana, you know what I'm talking about, and you would know this gentleman. Edwin Baffour will be our guest today on the show. Edwin will also be joining us on the panel discussion, where we bring on some other agricultural experts and a farmer, and we will all sit around the table and talk about the impact, the potential impact, and actual impact of GMO, genetically modified organisms or foods in our system. What are the potentials of that for our food security? All that plus your showbiz and more. Also the reports from across Ghana. Mampohenes.ye, the final funeral rites for the Mampohene. We will receive a report from that from our correspondent, and from other correspondents from across Ghana, we will also be receiving some reports. In the meantime, are you ready for the editorial? We will be shooting straight for the editorial, and when we come back, we will have the interview. Stick and stay. Yes, indeed. We're live on iCulture TV. We're also live on Radio Culture, of course. We are also live on Modern Ghana, www.modernghana.com. When you get there, search for Radio Culture, you will find us. We are also streaming live on the internet and on all our some of our social media platforms. We're streaming live currently on Facebook and YouTube. Let's go for the editorial. All right, my name is Kwaku Boahene, and you're welcome to the editorial for this week's consideration. Are we practicing the right politics in this country? Are we practicing the right politics? I'm just asking. We are practicing a system of governance that has been imposed on us subliminally. We've been tuned to think and believe that this system of governance is the only and the best way of governance for us. Truth of the matter is, there are things to be said for this system of governance we call democracy. Why? We all get the opportunity to chime in on who should lead or govern. But is this even necessarily a good thing? Because the system that allows us to vote also allows some devious people to engineer and remote control the processes to a point where the gains of democracy presents, to the point where the gains that democracy presents become counterproductive. Let's be brutally honest. Our kings and chiefs and queen mothers definitely have their role. But when it comes to justice delivery, very few of them, I repeat, very few of them can be held to that standard. Traditional justice delivery can be problematic, to say the minimum. If you have witnessed a trial at a chief's palace, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. The system is heavily skewed towards the sheer benevolence of the chief and the elders. From experience, it is very typical to see the accused being insulted and attacked for this or that or the next thing, all the way down to even the way they're dressed, right? Being berated in front of everybody, rather than debating the issues of whatever crime may have brought them there. There's very little room for real self-defense in the traditional justice delivery system. That being said, though, I think we can borrow some of these ideas, some of the ideas of what is being sold to us as democracy. Get the good parts, like general suffrage, right? And combine them with the positive elements of our ancient and time-tested governance systems. Why is it even important to me at this time? People, have you noticed that we are caught up in a perpetual politicking and incurable cynicism mode? Instead of thinking of development of the nation, we as a nation are sharply divided along political fault lines. And the cracks keep deepening. Right after election, we jump right back to politicking, campaigning, sloganeering, lying, gendarmongering. Instead of acknowledging the gains and successes, opposition parties and their followers are hell-bent on controlling the narrative to make the positive look otherwise. We're in a dangerous time, aren't we? We are in a dangerous time when some people make it their business to make you dumb. The opposition politician sees red, tells you it's green, and swears by whatever it is that they hold sacred, if anything at all, that it is green. They devise strategies with logistics and funding in place to convince people that, for instance, the cedi's abysmal performance in the past government was due to the Russian-Ukraine war, but its successes of today is due to Donald Trump's tariffs. These are political parties. I mean, these political parties don't respect us anymore. They don't respect your power to think. They only value your availability to consume their nonsense. This is why they keep pointing to you as belonging to that or the next party when you do not belong, when you do not line up with their thought processes. So they think that this is, in this day and age, they can tell people that there's some crystal ball that only they are privy to. In this day and age of social media, people, we're broadcasting to you on the internet. I'm speaking to you from Texas, USA. My team is in Kumasi, Ghana. We're having an interview with guests from Accra, and people are watching us all the way from Russia. How dumb do you have to be to think that people will swallow nonsense like this when we have tools like Google, for crying out loud? However, no matter how smart people can be, there are also the so-called malleable masses who truly are a piece on the chessboard. These are still available for use by the politician. So it is still very possible for people with money and influence to highly influence the outcome of elections. And this is why, as part of the much touted constitutional review, we must look beyond trying to remodel a governance system that fits into the template of the Western definition of democracy. But look beyond that to create a morph between the positive aspects of that which we call democracy and our time-tested elements of our own governance system. You know what that would save? You know what that would do? That would save us millions, maybe billions of dollars every 4 years in bullshit political campaigning. My name is Kwesi Eson Bako. I come in peace. I come not to please. When I come back, we will have your show.
Since 1994, crafting natural products with organic shea butter and red palm oil. All products.
Secret. Radio culture, transmitting online. All right, so here we are. Thank you very much for staying with us. We actually are switching the interviews around. We're bringing you the second interview first and the first interview second, after which we will hold a panel as well. So If you're ready for me, let's go straight to welcome our guest, Edwin Baffour, spokesperson for Food Sovereignty Ghana. Edwin, how are you? Hello, Edwin.
Radio culture.
Yes, indeed. We're still trying to get Mr. Hold on. Sincere apologies. Just trying to get Mr. Baffour on. Edwin Baffour is a spokesperson for Food Sovereignty Ghana. We're trying to get him on. Obviously, facing some technical challenges there, but please stay with us. We will be right back as soon as we get Mr. Baffour on.
Welcome to Tucson Hotel, your ultimate home away from home. Located in the serene town of Ejisu Echakrum, just off the Jabin Road, we offer you a haven of comfort and luxury. Step into our fully air-conditioned 40 bedrooms, where modern elegance meets convenience. Whether you choose our normal, standard, deluxe standard, or executive rooms, each one is equipped with Wi-Fi and DSTV, ensuring that you stay connected and entertained throughout your stay. Indulge your taste buds at our exquisite bar and restaurant, where our skilled chefs prepare a wide range of culinary delight to satisfy every palate. From local delicacies to international favorites, we have something for everyone. Planning a business meeting or a special event? Look no further than our state-of-the-art conference hall with a capacity to accommodate 80 to 100 people. It is the perfect venue for your corporate gatherings or social celebrations. But that's not all. We proudly boast the largest recreational center in the Ejisu municipality. With a capacity to accommodate up to 2,000 people, it is the ideal location for concerts, weddings, and other grand events. It comes with 4 fully air-conditioned bedrooms and a kitchen as one package. Our luxury cars are also available for rent. Drive like a boss. To experience true hospitality and unmatched comfort, contact us today. Our friendly staff is ready to assist you. You can reach us at 0244 654 458, 0246 505 327, or 0241 418645. You can also email us at info@tucsonhotel@gmail.com. Tucson Hotel, your home away from home.
Right move, do it.
Radio culture. All right, and so we're back, and I believe we have the issue situated with Mr. Baffour. So we're going to go straight and go speak with Mr. Edwin Baffour. No stranger to this platform. I don't know if he has been on TV yet, though, but he has definitely been on this platform. So for those of you who are seeing his face for the first time, spokesperson for Food Sovereignty Ghana, Mr. Edwin Baffour. Brother Baffour, how are you, sir? Hello? Hello, Edwin.
Fine, thanks. Yourself?
I'm good.
Yes, greetings. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. It looks like you are muted. We're good now. Thank you very much. And just quick, housekeeping announcement. Any language that Ghanaians understand is welcome on this platform. If I don't understand it, I'll ask you to explain it. But otherwise, you're very free to speak any language that Ghanaians understand, or Africans, I should say, understand for that matter, on this platform, right? Even though basically we, standard go by English. So first of all, welcome, Baffour. Let me start by asking you. Thank you very much. So tell us a little bit about Food Sovereignty Ghana. Let's start from there, because to be honest with you, with all the fight that you people have been putting in this whole time, I don't think it's commensurate with how many people really know about the work you're doing and about the fight at stake in general. What is Food Sovereignty Ghana?
Okay, thank you very much. Food Sovereignty Ghana is a civil society organization that is dedicated to social justice, life, and the environment. So protecting the integrity of those. And the flagship issue that we've been involved with in Ghana is fighting against the imposition of genetically modified organisms, GMOs, into our food chain. So we were involved in some litigation in the courts, in the High Court and the Supreme Court, to make sure that Ghana doesn't allow genetically modified organisms into our food chain. Unfortunately, last year, the government released a genetically modified version of our cowpea, the black-eyed pea. And so now your wache, your kose, your red, your tubani, risks being made with genetically modified cowpea. Our concerns with that is the lack of adequate risk assessment. We want to find out what kind of tests were done on this new GM cowpea that the policymakers seem to think is safe and have given it a green light. We're concerned about the kind of research that was done. We're concerned about the endorsement by the Ghanaian people. As you yourself say, most Ghanaians don't know what GMO means. So it means that if you are going to tamper with the staple food of theirs, the cowpea, that's something that requires their consent as a people. And so this has been moves that have been done largely on the blind side of the masses. And it's very unfortunate, but it's a legacy of colonialism that we're seeing in our food system. And the efforts of Food Sovereignty Ghana is to restore the dignity of our African food systems, to restore the nutritional foods that we used to eat. Today we eat, less nutritious foods that are just commercially available. And this is the main work that we do in advocacy, as well as working directly with farmers.
Interesting. So the argument has been advanced. I've heard it being advanced. This is an argument I had with friends back in college, back in Australia, and it was very intense. That food in itself has never stayed the same. Food has gone through processes to get to where we are today. So GMO, genetically modifying it, is only a way of helping sustain our food sources. What's your reaction to that?
Yeah, I mean, never before have we actually gone into the genes of an organism and edited them. So essentially changing its being, not through traditional breeding practices where you see the changes occur over a generation, but immediate, very quick, cut and paste, where mistakes can happen, and that's one of the concerns of the whole biotechnology. When the Cartagena Protocol for Biosafety was put in place in the early 90s, it was because of this specific issue that there are unintended risks associated with biotechnology. And because those exist, you have to be very precautious about doing things which will have irreversible impacts on the environment and human health. And so the fact that human beings have bred the preferable traits in vegetables and animals and fruits, it has never happened on this scale where you're doing the genetic modification within the cells itself.
So someone will ask, why not? Like, if they have the knowledge, and we're having a very frank and brutal discussion here, right?
Sure.
So that people understand the issues rather than latch onto,
Yeah.
slogans or anything like that.
Yeah.
So one will ask, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with getting into the gene to edit it if that's going to sustain food sources for humanity?
Okay. Well, first of all, the bulk of this gene editing work happens in very expensive laboratories, very expensive setups that require huge investments and funds and capital, which most African countries don't have. So African countries who are dabbling in this are being supported by external funders. So our local agencies don't have the funds to go into this, because at the end of the day, if you look at our problems as African countries, we face four main problems. The issue of the lack of roads, so there's no roads from the farm gate to the markets. The lack of irrigation technology, so people are still relying on rainfall. The lack of warehousing, facilities, so that what you produce on the farm eventually rots. There's such high post-harvest loss. And the fact that banks also don't lend to farmers. Now, those four pillars are what affect agriculture in a serious way. And so we're jumping the gun to try and go and change things without having amended what you should have taken care of, which is if there's a road from the farm gate to the market, what is even grown on the farm will not rot. And we won't have this debate about whether we can feed the growing population of the world. In Ghana, 40% of our produce rots on the farm, doesn't even make it to the main road. So these are the teething problems that we should take care of as African countries, rather than going after genetic modification, which requires laboratories and high intensive, investments in cash that comes with what's it called?
Conditions.
Conditions, yes, conditionalities, So you're given a certain research to research specifically that. Whether the end game of the research endures to your benefit or not, that is the bracket in which you're supposed to perform. And it isn't to the best of the interests of African countries. Also, let me also remind us that African communities have had scientists who've existed here for millennia. So they are the ones who produce these seeds with these traits that we love today. Unfortunately, companies come into African countries and many developing countries and then misappropriate what we call germplasm. Is a form of biopiracy. You come into a country, you take our cowpea, you go tweak it a little bit, then come back and sell it back to us without any benefit sharing scheme for the original people who created that. What happened to that original scientist? Where's the benefit sharing for their ingenuity and their innovation? And this is specifically the issue. So the communities in the northern region who develop this cowpea that make Tubani the way Tubani is supposed to come out, there's no benefit sharing for them. Left to them alone, they're just supposed to buy the new version that has just been tweaked and then has been labeled as something new.
So the question would be then that, but for genetically interfering with the DNA basically of seeds and food sources and all that, will we survive as a human race if people didn't get in there and find ways of making food multiply faster, grow more resistant to pests, etc., as they claim? We survive. Will we survive? Yeah, will we survive on the regular seed sources that we have?
If you go to the Sahel countries like Mali, Niger, Burkina, Senegal, Gambia, if you look at the seeds that the farmers use, the farmers are using seeds that their ancestors used. Why? Because that seed knows the area. That seed knows Hamatan. That seed knows the harsh sun. That seed knows the insects in that area. That seed knows the very little rainfall that they get. So if you bring a seed from outside and try and let it do well in Niger or Mali or Burkina, you are likely going to bet on the 3-month rainfall that you have, and then you can't have a good harvest. So the farmers themselves use what they know is going to work. If it's not broken, don't try to fix it. And like I said, a lot of these seeds come to us through conditionalities and incentives and are tied to things like aid. Otherwise, the seed that is going to do best in Salaga is likely to be a seed that grew up in Salaga, was produced in Salaga, and you can't bring a seed from Nzima land and expect that it will do well in Salaga because they are two different environments. So food sovereignty is about promoting food that comes from as close as possible to the communities where they live. And it's a myth that these insect-resistant varieties enhance, productivity, because at the end of the day, the insects develop resistance. So in India, the pink bollworm is already resistant to the GM cotton. In the US, the bollworm is resistant to Monsanto's maize. So the Maruka cowpea, which they're saying they've released the GM cotton, the GM cowpea for, is eventually going to develop resistance. This happens in nature. So then you're taking 2 steps forward and 1 step backward. Meanwhile, at the end of the day, if we start growing GMO in Ghana, even GMO will rot on the farms because GMO won't produce roads. There'll be no irrigation because of GMO. GMO is still going to rely on rain-fed agriculture. And GMO is not going to build its own warehouses. So when you harvest your GM crop, it's going to rot on the farm. So do we go or do we come when we accept these short-term interventions? And the interesting fact is that in most European countries, you're not allowed to grow GMOs on their territorial boundaries. So in Germany, Switzerland, in France, in England, and you should ask yourself, why the double standard? So we should be encouraging the promotion of organic agriculture, the agriculture that has given us the biodiversity of the planet. GMOs provide uniformity. So if you look at maize, the reason why Mexico, who is a neighbor of the US, banned GMO maize recently is because they are the source of maize all over the planet. And if you look at maize from Mexico, it looks like a cartoon. Some of them have yellow, purple, orange, green ears on the corn. You remember when we were growing up, you'd see one may be purple, one may be black, one may be brown. Now today, they're mostly all white or mostly all yellow. Now, that is being the loss of the biodiversity is what you're seeing before your eyes. And you can't tell me that the maize with all the different colors has the same nutritional value as the white or yellow maize. So this is what happens when you let commercialization and profit-seeking override the need for biodiversity, for healthy soils, which require a lack of poisonous chemicals like glyphosate. You need soil fertility. You need the microorganisms in the soil. There is no magical seed that can grow itself on soil which is not fertile. So we need to go back to producing fertile soils like our ancestors did and living in harmony with nature, composting, not putting on hazardous chemicals. And that is what we advocate for.
I see. So let's talk about patents and the whole, somebody will say brouhaha. I don't see it as brouhaha. I see it as a righteous crusade against, to protect, the people, if you ask me, because the small scale farmer is always at the losing end of this whole thing. Some of all these things that we're talking about are going directly over their heads. Some of them do not understand any of this at all. But let's talk about patents for a little bit. And with that, let's go back some years to what they call the Plant Breeders Bill, which I think has metamorphosed to become the Plant Variety Protection Bill, something like that. Take us through that. Why is it important? Why is food sovereignty fighting to protect the patents of our traditional food sources?
Okay, first of all, under international treaties like the WTO and the Nagoya Protocol and the United Nations, it's a protocol that was done for the benefit of peasants and rural workers. Ghana has a right to protect the right of farmers to sell and save and exchange seeds. Now, what is happening is that these international organizations are forcing and encouraging African countries to sign on to these very rigid legal protocols, which they say are to promote plant breeding. And like I told you, the people with the big bucks to do the actual plant breeding in the way that it's done before you get certified by them, there are very few people who pass through that gate. So it's not Kofi and Ama and Adjoa who they always refer to and say, oh, you're not allowing Ghanaian breeders to breed. Kofi and Adjoa and Ama don't have those millions of dollars to do those researches in the labs that are funded, by external interest groups. So these laws eventually go to protect the big boys, the players who come in with their modified seeds, the hybrid seeds, and then they're basically creating the ecosystem to take over the market. So once you put these laws in your land, the big seed players can now move into the country and control your seeds. Before, back in the day, under Kwame Nkrumah, we used to have a very thriving public sector seed program. So Ghana was heavily involved in producing seeds for its farmers. Today, it's very highly privatized. But back then, the interest was that farmers should have access to seeds, they should have access to good seeds. Now, farmers in Ghana don't have a need to have access to seeds that they need to keep buying every single season. Seeds that if you plant, you can't get a second generation from. Seeds that if you go to the shop and the dollar has changed, then the price of what you're going to buy to take home to feed your family has also changed. We believe that the public sector, that Ghana should be more involved in the production of seeds in the interest of farmers, so that we can produce seeds of the foods that we like. Seeds that would be to produce the tubanis and the beto and the rere and all our local foods. Now we're producing maize, white rice. We have a food policy which allows chicken to come all the way from Brazil and be cheaper than chicken grown in Brong-Ahafo region. And the same for rice coming all the way from Vietnam, more cheaper than what is coming in the Volta region. That cannot be a proper structure. And so it favors interest groups. And this is what we need to realize. And interest groups are promoting these interests.
Speaking of that, many years ago, during President Mahama's first rodeo as president, that's when I started actually following this GM thing very closely. And I did speak with, I should have got that video ready. However, it's on our website and it's also on our YouTube page. You can go and search for it. If you go on our YouTube page and you just put in GMO, I'm sure that video will pop up. But I did have an interview with this gentleman. I forget his name. He was a member of parliament. And I think he was at the time in charge of the agric sector or something to that effect. And to my complete surprise, both parties, both sides of the aisle were in complete harmony with trying to pass the plant breeders bill. The only time I see that is when they are discussing their salaries. That's the only
when
time
there's something in it for all of them.
Basically, that's what I'm saying. That's the only time I see them in harmony. The only other time I saw them in harmony was this time, because I spoke with the minister who was minister under President Mahama at the time, and also member of parliament. And then I spoke with people from the opposition, and they all were in alliance, basically trying to agree that GM is okay, it's welcome, let's have it. Let me give you an example of our past Minister of Agric. Lee said about that man, the moment he became Minister of Agriculture, I put my hands on my head, because he is the one who made a statement like, oh, go to America, all these people eating GMO, have you seen any? He made some dumb statement like that.
We petitioned the vetting committee not to allow him to become minister.
There you go. See, but if you have people like that in charge of agriculture, that's a problem. Now back to my point though. Interest, vested interest. What do you think is going on? Why is it difficult to just understand that the local food sources need to be protected? Why are we going through all these phases? Why has the plant breeders bill metamorphosed to become the plant variety protection, whatever? What's going on there?
Yeah, I mean, very clearly the heavy interest to have all this promoted comes from outside. In fact, I'll tell you that it's ironic you say both sides are into this, because in 2013, both sides had almost conceded, until food sovereignty and our allies got involved in this stakeholder engagement. The plant variety bill in its form, when we saw it, clause 23 stated that a plant breeder's rights shall be independent of the Constitution of Ghana. Can you imagine? Independent to the Constitution.
How?
Now, because of the engagement and the kind of stakeholder, work that we did, the law now reads that a plant breeder's rights shall be subject to the Constitution of Ghana. So you can see that the parliamentarians were going to concede such a huge right of the people of Ghana. And there's something very sweet about this thing, and that's why all of them are in agreement with it, which is very unfortunate because they're not really thinking far. They're not thinking that the very countries that provide these funds, even in their own countries, in Germany, you can't grow one GM crop on German soil. Neither can you grow one GM crop on Swiss soil. So what is it about Ghana's biodiversity that we don't want to protect for the future? And like I said, the push for GM is coming from outside because 90% of Ghanaians don't know about it. And if you were talking about the political will, when it was COVID, everybody knew that you had to wear a mask, you go to a bank, everybody knew you had to do this and that. The political will to educate Ghanaians about GM, the political will to even ask their consent. Oh, we want to change your wache. We want to bring a genetically modified version of your tubani and your kose. That was absent. Did you ever hear of a stakeholder engagement where people were being called, sensitized on radio, that this may happen to our wache, tubani, kose, eaten every morning? So there's definitely a push from outside, and most of these interest groups, have a reason why they're promoting that side of the business. And unfortunately, the policymakers are not thinking far, and so they concede to all these wants. But very, very, very shortly, then they realize that they've conceded so much. In the 70s, this same kind of pressure came upon African countries, and we were told to stop eating our natural oil. So don't eat shea butter, don't eat coconut oil, don't eat palm oil. Why? Because we were told it was high in cholesterol.
Palm oil gives heart disease.
These are the most healthy oils on the planet, and we started eating hydrogenated fats. So in the same 40 years' time, when we look back at GMO and look at the decision that what made us leave our natural, nutritious foods to genetically modify things that haven't worked in their own countries, that the pests that they seek to control in introducing genetically modified organisms develop resistance to the pest. So have we gone or have we come?
Okay, Edwin. So this is where I hope you understand some tree, small at least.
Yeah.
Good, because we're going to expand the discussion a little bit, right? And we are going to be joined by other stakeholders, because what I've noticed, Nise, we are not really discussing this issue properly. The farmers, do they understand this issue? Do they really understand what's going on? The
farmers get so confused because every year, new country comes with a new project, a new vocabulary, new names of projects, and every year it changes. If it's Canada 1 year, the US 1 year. So the farmers themselves are confused. Meanwhile, they have indigenous knowledge which can help them do farming, and they discard that and follow what seems new.
All right. So let's go to, and we have a few people who are going to be joining us. The first one to join us is Kwaku Boahene. Kwaku Boahene is an organic farmer. He's the CEO of Roots Organic Farms. I'm sure he'll tell us a bit more about that. And then he, I believe, also has a farmer who grows rice, a local rice farmer with him, who will be speaking with as well. And I think so we're also going to be joined by Ati Moses Lolo, who is our agriculture correspondent, who also has done some extensive work in the field. Akol, by the way, has also worked in the field as a technical officer. I think that's what they call them in the Ministry of Agric. So yeah, Babe, we have very interesting discussion in there. Let's start. Akol, welcome.
Thank you.
So I believe so you've been following the discussion so far. Do you have any question for Mr. Baffour before we go any further?
Yeah, I was following, and I think I'm in total support with everything that he said, because yeah, he was right on point. Yeah. So I think we just continue with the discussion.
Okay. Now, where are you? Are you in the studio, or did you put some type of filter on your camera or something? You look like a silhouette. I'm not sure.
I'm actually in the farm at the moment.
Oh, I see. Okay, it looks like the direction of the sun. Maybe it looks like one of these Instagram thingies.
I'm wearing a riding jacket.
Oh, okay. And I believe so. Oh, yeah, rice farmer with you.
Yes, I will mention Waha.
Good. Oh, okay. There you are. Now we can see you. Okay. All right. Me pacho ube to me the Baswa, and then we can introduce her, and then we can go ahead and have a discussion.
Oba mention Davi Waha.
Yo, Davi, akwabo.
Yeah, Joda.
Yo,
That's our poem.
nyamina dum namonso
Yeah,
yo, the nyamiase. Yo, Davi, yeah, biatisa udua emo. Yo, na yene nipa ba kwa ne kasa owo line so bi nyina na ebedi nkomo na bom. Ye friend Mr. Edwin Baffour. Te wo mo no so ebe bisa nsem bi ne ade ni nia ya di nkomo na bom na kama. Na mama bisa wo, amo na udua no, aya wunya wo seats na wo so nya fin fa.
Me akasa na me kope bi na me di ye.
Yo, na ya oto ana obi na dema ana
me start here no me nipa de fem nti me ye nye na fe no na me na de commerce me de na de come no nti e se je aka o me agasa me nsemu na me de ye me ho de ye
yo na udua ye no afi edi ekire no saa eno abi na nya ya esan di dua ya na ase na e wo se okokoto foforo ansa na wasan bi dua
me pa to onwa na me ye for me start in 2021 onwa na me de ye adwuma.
Oh, I see. Next is from 2021 udua afi etwaso no saa dia udua ye na eno abi na osan dua saa afi no
Me pa cha
na ye emo type ben na udua
me mo ni mo de eloka nya grek for the ni eloka.
Okay, good. Yo, so Mr. Baffour, there you are. Here's your farmer. Obviously, from the cancer saying you so the organic farmer, right? He using the
Hello.
Yeah, yeah.
I think I might come in a bit. What is happening? She's not a totally organic farmer. Her seeds are organic, but aside that, she uses what I call Dr. Panier, the pesticides.
Okay.
Yeah, but her seeds, like I was saying, she's been planting it for the past 4 years, but she's been using the same seed. Like she explained to you earlier on, she had a friend who was a rice grower. So when she was coming to start, she borrowed some seeds from the friend. And after she planted, after a year, she returned the seeds to the owner, and then now she has her own seeds. That is what she's been planting for the past 4 years.
I see. So material can I see she plants you can say organic seeds, but you see pesticides, like inorganic pesticides. Is that the situation?
Inorganic pesticides and weedicides.
I see. And she grows okay. Anyway, yeah, later. Mami, name say Mr. Baffour Kabi my yen call Bione and Sambra.
No, I was saying that it's interesting. Say Okase, she got the seeds from her friend, and since the friend gave her the seeds, or Sanwobi, she didn't have to go and buy any.
Exactly.
Because seeds are supposed to be, common goods.
Regenerative, yeah.
Yes. So this is the benefit of
what they call heirloom.
Heirloom. Inti say to own their own seeds. They wouldn't need to go to companies to go and buy them. And the company's seed is tied to the dollar and the cedi and all those long things. And he's living somewhere and he's walking to his farm in the morning. Now doing a different. He needs the support, and if he has access to his own seeds, when he has to rely on going to get it from somewhere, even the transportation to that town. So this shows you seeds is good for our communities. Our communities are primarily agrarian. So this Davi lady here, she is an example of what we should be encouraging, to the point where there's so much organic fertilizer and pesticide around that if we encourage them, Ghana will be actually producing those rather than importing inorganic pesticides and fertilizers. We have neem, your garlic, your muko, your tobacco. different things are so you see it will make the insects disappear from the plants.
I see. And speaking of that, Echo, organic farmer on bigger scale than that we believe. Now let's ask you about organic farming, versus GMO, right? So say we are having a discussion about the threat from the GMO. Do you believe that organic farming can sustain the country, by extension the continent, by extension the human race, if we decided to go all organic? Is it sustainable?
It's very, very sustainable. Just like my brother said earlier on, we didn't have this GMO and these pesticides in our system, and we were okay. We didn't have any much problems. We only started getting these problems when these things started coming in. I think I have quite some experience on that. I used to work with the Ministry of Food and Agriculture. As initially started as a technical officer and ended up as what they call DDO. I always sit back and say I blame myself to some extent because of certain things I taught farmers earlier on, especially with regard to chemicals and stuff like that. And somehow it wasn't my fault. It was a policy by the ministry that we had to follow.
There you go.
I heard my colleague earlier on talk about projects from different countries. It is very, very true. You'll be there. Mofa, every year we get different projects. Improvement of rice, blah blah blah. This new variety of cassava, let's go and test it here. And most of the time, the truth is, it doesn't take as far. I remember a personal experience. I was working in Bremane Skuma district. They brought this new cassava variety that we should introduce to the farmers. With all the sweet talk, well, once it's done, we'll come in to buy blah 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 blah. I went in, preached to the farmers. They did as they were expected to do. They had a bumper harvest, like really bumper harvest. But one, they didn't come in to buy as they promised. And then two, like Mr. Baffour was saying earlier on, it started rotting at the farm because the variety is not used to the weather and pests and everything in the area. I remember it got to a point, this farmer, when I go to his place, he said, when I was in India, into Upompo, would it be Beko? So, by force, I go to Banshi, if I go to Toku, I got to the motorbike. So, meanwhile, no, the road you stop at a junction, and then you walk about 5 miles to their village. You see, what I did is say, at some point when I stopped going with motorbike. You see, before I see junction, so I'm at 95 miles, just like they do all the time. This farmer, we could do all the miles, so one farm motorbike, yesterday, or the bank, the best one, it may have a roadside. When I see him, that
almost sounds like an insult.
Radio culture.
So, yeah. But once I got like fully into the organics, I think I'm happy. I'm happy because for the first time in my life, I can go to the farm, pick any fruit. Probably the only reason I wash it is because of sand or something. Otherwise, I can eat it and know that I'm not consuming any poisons, because we do our own fertilizer at the farm using leaves, wood ash, how do you call it, poultry manure, and it's worked for us beautifully so far. When it comes to pests, we do our own pesticides. I heard my brother talk about a few of them. Yes, we've been using garlic spray, and we have pure garlic spray, and then we have a mixture of garlic and chili spray as well. we got some neem oil, which we use. At the moment, we don't have any. Currently, our main source of pest control is garlic spray, and so far it has worked for us beautifully.
I see.
We don't.
Let's talk to Davy a little more. Davy, whoa. Yo, me pacho na emono se udua ahifa na ya kokoton no ama for beto ana se wankasa na wo se wi a wo stand ko dwom na wankasa wakoton.
Me pacho fije na misi wo so na atofo ba obeto.
Okay, enti mo baby a ye mo po emo ne ho ho. Enti ho na mo na amafo aba ho na ba beto.
Me pacho.
Oh, I see. Na ne bo
That is Kwesi, let me just come in briefly. That is one of the problems that the farmers face as well, because these middlemen meet them at the machines where they go to mill, at the rice mill, and then they take it from them, not at a good price. Because so
yeah, I was going to get to that.
You might want to talk about that one as well.
Yes, I was going to get to that. Okay, yo, thanks a lot, police. Davi, no, so mo beto opa on ton mo na, and I say by when you call now mo abana there was so ton mo send it here, and I say one ton mo he fa na be kwa ton no.
Oh, yes, today when you come so say there we see and the engineer and omo amat once ni so a ye ja wo no ma beto na yakwaje esika
na ya ska na mo de ma mo na eye.
Gawani 30 million here.
Na emo ifi abroche ba ni so ewo ode toto ho a wo hwe emo na mo gudua no ene emo na ye di fi abroche ba na ane di fi amanone ba na ne bo no de hina ne bo adin de hina ne bo ewo fom
ha de fom skakre ha de so mo den ha de fom sa abroche den
the Momudiane bow from. I see. Yo. Na se ufa me fan se eka baku bia unya emono sen e na unya wom. A bag sen.
Eka baku se unya ho aka de nyina dia grawanu. Pampo.
Grawanum. Na baku bia 13 million.
Acha say.
What's a grawanum baku bia so 13 million.
Me pacha.
Okay. Let's just say one pole bia one acre bia no 13 times 5. 30 million, you say 130 cedis are not saying
1,300 cedis.
Oh, 1,300. Oh, okay, 1,300. And then let's just say it's quite profitable. Anna, let's just say Anna.
Where?
Yo, na mami bisa wo wehu ebi mu a omudua emo a enye local ni bi omudua emo a ye di fi bebi na di seats na brob no oni nipa bisa
ya se omu mami bi na afi mi dua na efifi.
Oh, yanka ho asem. Edwin, I hope you're listening. No, why mona?
That seed that she's talking about, that seed that she's talking about was given to her by the Minister of Food and Agriculture.
There you go.
MFF, yes.
Mama Kaima saying, be a correct documentary be or was it almost say conform about some of more alternative livelihood program. And no more bro more you can't say Sabon your friend is saying I can't hear so mon konye omo I can't say the can't tell man 4 years I can't say no city and the are not here. The man is 4 years I can't anything the day and say no kwa send no city and the are not The dear one Fifi. Can one some Indian no? One person now course a walk and as a moon or one of the bro said Gina could be a sign a sibai.
Omo batro mi din omo register me na me call down makoko je.
Okay. The Umakuni ye agree for office na.
Aha, agree for office. Na me call je na medua e. Ni susumpo enye papa. Abi so di kan jabi. Ebi so medua 2 weeks papa na bi start say so.
Hey. Yes.
What she's trying to say is first year the man on the day would dry and then maybe 2 weeks ago they started saying so it was a funny one. But after that, and whatever she was able to get out of, I don't know, didn't dominate again.
First of all, Udia and
like I said Macra, say a few of them a bit by now because I don't know. But what she's talking about the germination percentage, is extremely bad.
Matthias say. Na me chese de buy no so ka o kesa wo san fa no asan dua bioma menye sure say beba.
I don't know dua ya man.
Na dika amba na den san kofa say wo ko dua bio. Edwin. Edwin, what's the reaction? Timing, please.
First one,
and that's the plan. You see, unfortunately, Inka by now, Inka GMO, no Akosusa, by now, with the president like Trump, Inka Obeka say, no seats to Ghana, and Inka, we would starve here. So this encouragement by our extension officers who work for the Ministry of Agriculture, who in turn work for the funders, Jumama Abrofuno, Diomo Peno, and extension officers Beka Che Epiafuno. And they were the ones who would tell the farmers that what you're holding is grain. Come and collect proper seed from us. And I say, I'm going to exchange this. After that, I say, every single season, Osan Toby. And now, Davi Meboa. You see?
Oh, now come with mammy in your way. Mammy said, but me show me the name one, Miss Uncle Family, than I know I'm the Majumasi on the wood. Oh, come.
Wow, what a testimony. Wow. Okay,
you have a look at the farm.
Okay, we'll take a quick look at the farm. Yeah, let's bring on Ati first. He's part of the discussion today. Ati Moses, who's our great correspondent. He also has extensive. I'm sorry, he's still in the car, right? And we're joining with like. Ati, are you able to speak with us?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if you've been following the discussion, but so far, I'm sure you know, at least you know what we've been talking about, the GM threat and all of that. What's your initial contribution?
Well, fortunately,
let's tell us about. Go ahead first, and then I have a question for you.
Fortunately, like I read about the GM thing in South Africa, Zimbabwe, and in Kenya, etc. It is not as widespread here in Ghana. It's not as widespread here, but it's gaining food gradually, which is not good. So some of us are trying to organize ourselves so that we become like find a mouthpiece, and then still fight against it.
Okay, so that's the broken link.
So where I am now, when it comes to vegetables, except for the the vegetables that don't come from this place, like cabbage and all those things. As for that one, we still import. And when it comes to pepper, tomato, and all those things, here where I am, all the farmers use local material, and that is very encouraging.
That's awesome. That's very awesome. But you did make a point, sir.
Yes.
There is, we need to have a voice and all that. I think we already do have a voice, and that's where the disconnect is. On the show right now, we have Mr. Edwin Baffour, who's spokesperson for Food Sovereignty Ghana. Right, Food Sovereignty Ghana have been doing a lot of advocacy work, and I believe, sir, it's part of their work, or their work is part of the reason why you have given us a testimony. Sir, GM is not as widespread as it may be in other countries. No, let's bring great. But let me ask you, what's your personal experience? You've had massive experience in the field working with farmers. How much GM do you see out there?
Yeah, as I'm saying, in my work with farmers, what I can say is that GMO, no. Yeah, apart from a maize variety that came along the line, so far I've not witnessed any GMO crop here.
I see. So,
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. So you haven't heard about the cowpea? Because I heard that. Yeah, I think, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Good. So you haven't heard about the cowpea?
There's a cowpea variety that the crop itself, some people are trying to have. Hello?
Okay. All right. Let's.
No. I've not heard about. Apart from the crop itself, I've not heard about it. This place is not a cowpea growing area.
Okay. So that's how come it's not in that zone. All right. Let's bring on Mr. Baffour for a quick reaction on that. Mr. Baffour.
Yes.
First of all, Ati has told us, fortunately, it's a problem that seems to be kind of held in check. Thanks, I still maintain, to the advocacy work that your organization is doing, among other things. Reacting to this, now let me also ask you, how much communication, or what kind of communication links do you have to the people who really matter, i.e. the farmers who grow the food? Because if somebody says, hey, come for free seeds, like they did with Davi, right? And a different matter altogether. You know what I'm saying? And then they may have infiltrated the food chain with some undesirable whatnot. How much communication are you really enjoying with the chiefs, the farmers, the people who really matter?
Okay. Well, it's not an easy battle, because most of the money and the funding and the opportunity is on the other side, on the GM side. That's where Bill Gates and his people are funding, with billions of dollars, and getting our governments all, appetite wet, that they're, tackling hunger and all that. So even though you educate, there's a constant barrage and effort from the other side. People, companies who are pro-GMO taking media men on retreats, taking editors on retreats, so that the editors think that this is the only way to produce food. Meanwhile, the fact is that most of the food on the planet is still grown by small-scale farmers. Most of the food on the planet is still produced by Ama and Kofi and AC bringing their food together at a farm market and people buying it. The industrial food is what is made by a few companies. But what the man is saying is reflection of the fact that Ghana's food system is still under colonial rule, and often the extension officer is the agent to promote those changes. Now, if Ghana was being smart, we would want to promote organic agriculture, so that after we're able to feed ourselves, we are then producing what is called premium food. You know how much organic food goes for where you stay? Almost 3 to 4 times the price.
Yep.
Why wouldn't we want Ghanaian farmers to get 4 times the price for their output? That would help them buy better shoes for their children. That would help them send their children to better schools, provide health care, and so much more, improving the welfare of farmers. You want to encourage them to grow something where they're going to be heavily dependent, even from the basic thing, the seed itself. The seed. that you may have to pay more for the seed next season, or it might not even be available if you have a president like Trump that says that don't send it to Ghana at all. So we need to look at indigenous ways of providing food. And now our brothers in Burkina have opened their eyes. If it wasn't for the intervention of the president, the Burkinabes had stopped sending certain key legumes and grains to Ghana. Beans and cowpeas and rice had been banned, the export, because they're going to add more value over there. They abandoned GMO. They were doing GM cotton back in the day. They realized that they were getting a shorter quality fiber. And when they went back to the conventional cotton, they got a higher yield. So that debunks the myth that GMO will give you more yield. It may give you more yield in your first year. And after that, you start seeing the wahala that Davi has given you firsthand from a farmer's mouth. And so it's time that we start believing in the farmers' indigenous knowledge. The farmers have indigenous knowledge. They know so many things about the land, so many things about the birds that live on the land, about the weather patterns, about something they started seeing, which will tell them that the rain will start soon. We discard all of that if you're not wearing a white lab coat. So we have to encourage people like Davi. What she was taught by her grandmother, they are very useful things, and we must use them so that we produce food that doesn't poison the rivers, that doesn't poison the land. Right now, because of profit, everybody's taking a shortcut. In the end, the land will not be able to produce any food. Then you'll see whether it's expensive to be using condemn, or it's cheaper to get boys to weed and provide them labor. After a few years, when your farm doesn't produce anything.
Interesting. All right. So Eko was going to show us the organic farm, Roots Organic Farm. Eko, take it away. Let's see the farm, and you can tell us.
Yeah, I was primarily showing you Davi's rice farm. It's just
okay.
Beside our pond. I'll show you our fish ponds. Yeah, but this is Davi's rice farm. Can you see it?
Yes. Interesting. It looks green. It looks lush. It looks healthy.
Yeah.
And it's organic. At least it's organic seed.
Yeah, it's organic seed, yes.
So let me ask Davi. Davi, I didn't know you see chemicals, no edigu we say so. I didn't know. Oh, okay. And she said, what about
she's basically talking about organic. Said that I know only organic.
Organic, no.
Probably, we are going to groom her and change it to 100% organic.
Yeah, but you see the irony of it all, though. Say the indigenous ways of farming, no, it's organic by nature, right?
Yeah.
And I feel, no, for some reason, no, this was through our government, so to speak, through our ministry and so forth, no, Yababed now made down the knowledge of the farmers to the point where now their knowledge, no, is applying GlaxoSmithKline to the USA, no, you know, and then claiming said no onim organic. Meanwhile, the organic, no, it's the go-to, it's the original. Whoa, that's the sad story there, isn't it?
Very sad. Very, very sad. Very sad. I mean, like I said, you know, in the 70s, we were all told to stop eating shea butter, coconut oil, palm oil, because it's high in cholesterol. It was a trick. Today, most Africans are eating hydrogenated fats. You can't get oil out of corn unless you pass it through an industrial process. But if you grate coconut, you leave it in the sun, it will trickle with coconut oil.
Basically.
Boil palm, you will see the palm. Shea nut, the oil is there by itself. These are natural oils. When you produce oils that come from an industrial process, that is why the lifestyle-related diseases we are having in this country are all based on the oils that we started eating the last 30, 40 years. And this GMO is the latest, newest thing that they want us to get interested in. But the power in our kontomire, our bambara beans, and unfortunately, we don't realize even the word condemn, the word that we use for all these chemicals, we call it condemn. condemn. The name condemn means something. You are condemning your land.
I don't know.
It doesn't make sense.
Condemn.
She'll know condemn.
The trade name. The trade name of the chemical is condemn. So it's already defeated the purpose of everything that you are doing.
You know, the household name condemn. I'm going to condemn my farm.
You know the funny thing, Edwin. You know one funny thing. Now the condemn has even got into human beings, because there's a friend of mine who has a daughter. Like, this girl is going wayward. They've talked to her several times. She doesn't listen. One time, somebody came to the mom and said, "Oh, I've seen you've got very beautiful daughters here. I wish I could get one of them to marry." And I said, "Oh, right now, the two adult ones, they're taken already. The one that is left, the character is just like you. Mommy and I condemn for me. You must be worried."
It's a serious thing, though we are laughing. And this is state sponsored. This is sponsored by
Unfortunately, yes. Unfortunately, it's state sponsored.
Yes,
and that's
so
why advocacy is important.
The fertilizers that we go to buy and import using dollars, we have so much organic fertilizer around our farms.
As for that one, I'm like a living witness of how fertilizer has destroyed our soils. When I was with the Minister of Food and Agriculture, like, it's something that I did a lot of tests on. You use the fertilizer, the first year you get a good harvest. Second year, it's not that bad, but you notice like a sharp decline from the third year.
Mm-hmm.
You will be applying the fertilizer all right, but a sharp decline in your yield, because that is when the soil starts to get the effects of the fertilizer, like the negative effects of the fertilizer.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And our forefathers were living in a interrelated system. So his tilapia and the catfish water there, when they release it and put it on the rice, you see how well the vegetables do. You know,
exactly, because
this is
I remember when we were kids, like grannies and moms, something simple as wood ash. That was what they were using to sprinkle on the tomatoes, the garden eggs, whenever they notice any insects or something. Just wood ash.
Yes.
But we've left this and we've gone for this. There's this farmer in, I think, was it Malawi, who did an experiment with tomatoes. You know, with this GM thing that we are saying, you harvest tomato in the morning, by the evening, it's already watery. It's spoiled already. He was trying to look at how to prolong the shelf life of the tomato. And then he realized that when he goes to the farm where he sets his fire, it has ash and stuff like that. The tomatoes around that area, they kept like intact. They were not showing any signs of breakage or something. So he said, okay, then probably. So he decided to do it. And guess what he did? He just took a box, put some ash at the bottom, spread some tomato there, another layer of ash, tomato ash, and the tomato was able to keep for 6 months.
Yes.
Still fresh.
Yes.
But here we are. We just go and buy all kinds of chemical. Like, you know the worst part of it. Apparently in the Volta region, now people actually go to China. I have a friend, a classmate from the agri college. They go to China and make custom made chemicals. They request how poisonous it should be, and then they will do it for them to bring them in. Unfortunately, regulatory bodies are not able to do much about it, so they bring the stuff in anyway. And then apparently the first one that they brought, it really worked for them in the Volta region, and it was in a yellow container with a red cap. So because of that, since that time, the farmers stopped buying all other chemicals and they were going for that particular one. So what other investors or entrepreneurs or whatever they call them also did was, whichever chemical they bring, just package it in the yellow and red container and they will buy for you. Yes, and it's working.
All right. Okay. So, okay. Thank you very much, guys. Let's wrap up the discussion. Let's bring in some last comments. Fred Davi first. Bisa Davi. Last comments on Sanyako. Davi. Yeda wasipa said ne obekan ye ho na yedi dwuma ye besa ba unchen bio e wo mu a ye beba behwe we phone me bia edru na ya hwe se akodu sen ne ai sa kosi se obetwa mo no enti yeda wasipa ye ne na ansan e bekọ no wo se me twa to ne sen
yo me masa mo twa to se me ba badwan mu dia ande mba ye emu akakra ma me me so me dia ye madwuma no
yo
we say some ma come we dia mu ababa me nchen kakra me so me dia ye adwuma no
obeti enka by all means obeti enka mo bia kakra bia yeso wo bia yebetimi e de aboa ma bibia akoso pepepe na emo no so de se me ankasa kra na metimi ato de di kan a meto na medi na mehu se you know na de ebehia pass all do ho bebo bricol na pesticide na chemicals out di gugu emo no so no yen hwe no so ho asem for number 100% pa afide yetimi say
me package
100 why
me package you masas no so de me mbu wie ntimi hye mo nsa me pepa
mate
package me da asiu
yes you da CP ye chebusan for nyina
yeah mu je so
yo okay yo echo bye that's it echo last words.
So yeah, just like we have been talking throughout this session, I think we still need to continue the advocacy and probably make it louder, and then we do our own little way, like small things to help with those immediately around us. Just like Davi here, now I'm going to take her on board to guide her to go 100% organic. So wherever we are, whatever little we can do, let's do it, and then continue with the advocacy to ultimately go 100% organic for Ghana.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for joining us on this one today. Edwin, before we go, last words, please.
Yeah, my last words are we should save our local seeds. Our local seeds are the key to our local diet. You can't get tubani, you can't get bitter, the pumpkins, the bambara beans, all the local diet that we have, they come from local seeds. If you lose those local seeds, foreign seeds can't make those foods again. In Ghana, most of Ghana now eats tozafi from corn, maize, but tozafi is originally a millet dish. So it's showing you how we're changing our lifestyle because we are following people. So save your local seeds and keep your farms organic. If you go organic, you are empowering yourself because the neem that's on your field, the garlic on your field, the tobacco leaves on your field, the pepper on your field, you don't have to buy. So you are giving yourself, you're putting money in your pocket. Why would you want to burden yourself to be sitting on a bobo yard to go to town and go and buy dangerous chemicals that are going to kill you in the future? So let's keep Ghana organic and let's stop the hype. Ghana can grow organically. That is what our ancestors have fed us with. In fact, a lot of the farmers, the food that they eat themselves at home, they don't put chemicals on it. They send those ones to the market. So we need to be serious and grow food organically like our ancestors did. And don't believe the hype. We say no to GMO.
Thank you, Edwin. But let me ask you, upe tubani pa
Oh, me petubani pa.
You know how many times you said tubani in this on this show today?
Look, all our local foods are so delicious, and yet they are so simple. They are so highly nutritious. Mm-hmm. Some of them I've tasted for the first time just a few months ago, and you wonder why these are not sold on the street. Everywhere you go is fried rice, is noodles, is I don't want to mention their names, but we have to go back to those indigenous foods that help people to work all day under the sun and live and walk to their farms at 80, 90. Now people are 30, 40 dying off, and we need to go back.
Interesting. Yo, Edwin, you better also. Now, of course, Udin said this is only the beginning of the journey. We want serious advocacy to go down, and this is definitely the home for that. We are hereby officially and unofficially extending a hand of collaboration with your organization, Food Sovereignty Ghana, in the honorable fight to save our food sources from contamination and from commercialization. Edwin Baffour, thank you very much for joining us today. And thank you also, Echo. Thank you. We'll be right back. Salute you too. Thank you very much for all the good work you're doing. And our regards to the rest of your team. Thank you very much. We will be right back after this commercial break.
Since 1994, crafting natural products with organic shea butter and red palm oil. All products are available on walmart.com and Shopify, or visit our website at chrismark.com.
All right. Yeah, that was Ciensa. I'm not sure what the actual title of that song is. Beautiful music, by the way, from Lady Poma. And with that, let me welcome my co-host for today, the lady called Brown Cindy or Cindy Brown. Do you prefer to be called Cindy Brown or Brown Cindy? I think you are muted, Cindy. Or Brown. I'm not sure. There you go. What do you prefer to be called? Cindy Brown or Brown Cindy? You're still muted. Hold on. Let me unmute you from here. Don't worry about it. You're muted. Go ahead.
Okay. So I'm saying that you can call me that Cindy Brown or Brown Cindy. Any of them, I'm okay. It's cool.
I hear you. And we have our guest for showbiz today, Lady Poma. Lady Poma is actually in the green room, but for some reason I don't see her camera connecting. Lady Poma, if you can hear me, please reset your camera so we can have you on the show. And I will be handing over shortly to Brown Cindy for the showbiz interview with Lady Poma. I think so we have her now. Take it away, Brown Cindy.
Hello.
Lady Poma, there you are. Pretty lady.
Yes, please.
Nice voice. Me pacho to say. Yeah, nyamena Dumsor. Na yetie unyum debia. Brown Cindy, please fix your camera. This is your interview, not mine. Made them introducing who nature Lady Pomake. So next time Shiana, no makochiani sem no wakai me. Seminar no make a say. Meji fans akeke. Enti Brown Cindy, please fix your camera and come and do your interview. Until she does that, now I'll be holding forth for her. Me pacho to say your miniaba. Yeah. My yentie onyum we bio. Enyum ne me dedodo. My yentie kakra na fe ye monkomo.
We're really here.
Okay, Lady Poma. Anyway, your friend is saying.
Yeah, that was it.
Me catch you say friend or do you? What am I saying from? Nanka also backing me kakra. Nanka also backing me kakra say your friend or do you? Anyhow, beautiful song, beautiful music.
Jesus is darling Jesus.
That's right. Beautiful song, nice voice. Lady Poma, me pacho kan want some kakra che. Enyum to e sha se ma o ebreben. Time na o sha se tonyum.
Oh, me sha se tonyum de na misa. I'm about 8 years. But and in the Munami when I say me quite sorry that winter the Sunday school nyum to us any the abedu baby I do.
I see.
Me I can say roughly almost 30 years now.
Oh, I see. Hey, and me show so undi bro 30 years to peace abiao. Next so start to them. Hey, okay, yo. Yo, na gospel industry no ye ndi mu nkomo kakra aba be ye baby ase wo se nyom de nka wo sorry a wo voice a no answer wo sorry na wa tro nyom na wa to nyom and so gospel akwakoye area bia se wo nye Christo ni a ana se wo gospel kwa wa brabo na amafo person mo e monitor wa brabo ni hu se e custom style be nyesa ye hweda anye untum papa bisa ana wo hu ni sa.
Yeah. But insanity.
I didn't know it, sir.
Did I say? It is because Bible said the Ebusu akumemnani ne pie. Enti no untimi nka say we jidini ana we Kristo ni a wotu nyame ho nyom na wabrabo no ensem fata o jidini. Enti sawasha contemporary for no so omukofa Kristo nyom na omotu a enipa kasa bebre. Say nipa so mesi we the Boahene so to gospel any day and now we are gospel musicians so now to na wa ho fa ne oniema bi nse Kristo ni ha eno so ni atage o enti no me dia bi gidi yes de wo mu na no na wo say etre epia bonte ma ni be hu say be ya wudu ba bi a Bible say Kristo n'akyidifo no ɔmo hu ɔmo ana ɔmo sɛ ɔmo yɛ Kristofo adentia na ɔmo sɛ Christ. They were doing everything as Christ. That's why they were able to say these are Christians. And we are Christian, you know, our brother is a Christian. Yeah, you to maintain sanity.
I see. Dobi so beka se Christo so no signing adibonye for so na mo. Esan se na omo no pese oje omo nkwa. Nti hwe pa no ni Zacchaeus tax collector or ni Mary Magdalene obi a amafofu se oyo ba bia na nke bia na bra boy stab. Omo so na nka omo ben no pa no so
Obama adibonye for yes Obama adibonye for but odru wa ne ye ne sunu overshadow bonene wo ho no. Am I you light wherever he
for no esumai ne mfambo so odo mo ba be
ono no mo dru wa na ehan bi apie na ye hu se Kristo aba nti no
yo yes am fan konyo ni mu bio na wo aboma odi kan na se wo single na se wonwom pa odi kan toye no ne de hin
menwuma medical aye hu video de no ane ye da wase na me wonwum bebre o wa me ye but man fa ma abonten
let's say nyum to no na oto nyum wa sorry dem oto nyum e ma sorry ansa na wo pia kese oh afi de megimi hu di se metimi de me talent na ko abonten na asese na nete
na me to nyum wa sorry pa nti no COVID ni mu no na saa nyum we e baaye nti na wo se yeye na ye de promote Kristo na djuma die na wa share se ye ni no nti ano na ma metumi de nyum we ba abonten.
I see na sorry ben na okọ
Pacho me ko Christ Apostolic Church International.
Ho no matisa nwum to for wo pa wo mo sheda wo music session wo ana
The attorney say ho no ye promote music ye panyum asori no panyum asori bi o wa wo komu a ye ma wa kwanya kwa ma wo meto nyum but CAC de kwa beba beto nyum ye obi obeto solo ye ma wo sa kwanya no enti e ba sa na talent bi e wo ho ne pie.
I see. Now, okay, sembi efa secular artists na mo sometimes over fa no afanya menwum bi na auto ana bibisa. O ti bibisa sen na ya o fa no. Esan se obi so ho no ma ohun sa mo anya eno mo so hye ne crime power. Ebi obi ate da na se watisa. But so tise obi me pese mebo obi adi no obi abeka se dey. But efa se yeah secular moji di bi efa sa no na so obo a a man of different flavor biana.
Oh, I think sir is good. On say nyom no ntime nto ne keke. E was a unya voice so kan. Any flair na wo de beto no. Enti no say circular me nkampesa me bo obi din. It is like Kempaluta. Na nyumi a wo de abai. O bonya me din o che bibia morally right. But as a oye ya target no with some DB and say radio or ha on kind GD for problem at Christopher ye one no I was say ye to me a welcoming because our to nyame wonjuma definitely a time will come or be acting as what he is saying and maybe I mean when he said the first say or ye contemporary person in just say or brabone. Because Christo ni bra so bobra bone but or the Yesu akata nanim and a obu bra bone but the fact say bit is kwabna or to nyum na say ni Christo no esom no or bona bra bo said the Christo pa e didn't na o see a condemn no ade a mempa ye profane and you ma say sebi enkrati anadi o madwen ko baabi but abrabo mu nsem a ye di tutu ye ho for de I think it's a time will come gospel musicians na ye beto abrabo mu nsem
en ka me bebusa okra se ya wo na say wa bo Kimpaluta di ntia fa Kimpaluta ni example Kimpaluta about say oh lady poma o voice me depa be pe swag me pe o style of singing ni bibia no me pese me no me feature on the song on my album obeye.
Hello.
Yeah, what you mean?
Pacho man, sorry.
Yo, and yes, me say Sisubio, me say You can't book Kimpaluta di intimate paluta na besan ye example. What ho ya na sa Kimpaluta about si oh lady poma wo nyom ya me depa me pe swag no me pe style of music na there no. Me pese me feature wo menyom me album ne so one song. Obey.
The kind of me bomb a home pie. Na mama nyame ama me da go ahead no say nyame ka che me say menen inquire why not afemere content no na say a preachy Christ. I don't think there is any problem with that.
No, but one can also now say be na and preachy Christ per se, but a cabra bomunsem. I no so she be crampo to Christ a message in why and then if what I mean because say do na new journey Bible ka yanka sanso ye na no so train say yendi ye na ne journey. Enti no bit e bia no to nas high life but wo share any message no unti no but mama bi say also be bo ho pae enti na say me Cindy Thompson so ba say ne enko ye enyuma eno so be bo ho pae na
eno so me bo ho pae because Bible say ade bia ye bia ye musa rade answer.
Okay.
Enti no the fact say we gospel artist in nche say wa frame me I was say me di nachi I was say me nya confirmation answer na mako. And I'm proud to Kimpaluta the no osi moral song more Christo edino and I say money who de I don't think say no the ampedumu nyina bobi pain but me no dear preach Christ no and no na me ne be
I see not just one book Christ din wom dia nya dia be sa nyum no.
Man, I don't think say who promote you be who money din wom. We had there everybody.
Oh, that's example na mama yo. Say bia enyom ni mu no or say di una ni wejeni. Wona mi say. Bible say ye ni ye na ni ye jeni. And so bia wan ka say Christo say di una ni wejeni, but or say di una ni wejeni. Say at the cross na so na Christo so ka. It wan boni din wom dia in there na say emfa. And that's what terms and conditions. So my management na ka say Kimpaluta me ye nyom no, but chire o de Christ din shame ansana. Bibisa.
Morals. The sebi obi oti shrine kwa wo morals. Obi asebi osombosom kwa wo morals. Enti say moral la. Ade sebi a me fa ni sebi a ye bobo na ye nyum bi afa ho na anase akon bi esi oman ni mu ye tu youth no for. Say ma omumfo omo ho nsha akon why not? But say no as music, say they babon, say they are to there. I don't get what you are saying though, but maybe if he says say preach Christ in Kwadia, I'll go with him.
I have my answer, but I think I have my answer. You didn't come about Ghana gospel scene no kakra and Sunny wrap up interview. You better up in up with one kasa so and they were brabo munsem kakra, but yanka Ghana gospel scene no wasem kakra. Gospel scene time yen na gospel artist na yen hu omo no. Hu na o share courage, o share hu. I say yen can't pi ensem pincha no one kasa say oh gospel artist ni. O na meche. And then the Osha gospel artists need be shoe. I say omone the secular phone crampo competing in the glitz no. Enya man in kwao. A man crowd from a man crowd dear tunche. A man especially crowd seven make. What's your reaction to that?
Thank you very much. I think it's generational. Generational. Those times, my fans say, "Yama me dokasapia mone, Tego sisters and daughters of glorious Jesus." Omo time no. So we said your musisha siya ene assassin. Ya mama dina some we said your sisha siya ene assassin. But me the any say generation assassin ene ma assassin na so assassin who be because youth and especially local TikToker. They want something that will catch them, something that will draw their attention. And to person will draw my attention. You can't forget about generation now, woman now. You can't forget it. But who yan too into there? That's my problem. I don't know who yan too much. Too much, and then you find a way of cutting it. Bible say wade nyina ho kwan na so nyani nyina na fata yen You can do those things, but yet the fata jidini home said is good. If it's that, I don't have any problem with that.
What's the term slaying for Christ there? What do you think? Is it okay to slay for Christ?
Oh, I think it's an exaggeration. They are overdoing it. We are all slaying for Christ because they say, me makeup, me shall weak, me shall heal. What I say, but I say, yeah, exaggerate. I say, yeah, percy, yeah, the bit than the man be. But meanwhile, yeah, dada. Now someone maybe me question the old picture be and video be. Na chese wo China and nasa sumadi and no na so pa but a name momosi will slave for Christ. What is there? There is no difference. Satan no ochina nim otuna no oshenata de but a nedi nesi. I say yama sabi whom be abedi a dress in nechi. I say also dress to entice somebody. So who slay na say who entice yeah. There is nothing wrong with it. But so who be slay now be entice you will be sabi umpopie nyina guabonten who hips will be bia guabonten. You are not slaying for Christ. You are slaying for the people. And this who slay na say we are decent. I don't think there is anything wrong with that.
I see. Yo. Now, after Yembra back to wo any your music. What are you working on right now? Sisia, you is some of your music, you know, and we already know what you're capable of. Sisia Yekase, what's going on? Are you working on another album? Are you working on a song show? Say, what's going on?
Thank you very much. We are still working on things. Me wanyum bebrea. My year ewo baby and na make a choice say sa generation we na you woman. I was say nyum no what standard be. Until we are still working on that standard. Say be ya youth ni nyina tia. Omo betumi abuy into what we are selling to them. Until you go so aye
Yo, Mate. Now, when abaya ya ni ho fefefe ya waba TV so. Na ono na nke also ye interview no. Na for some reason mini ena waira ena mabeji ni interview ayama no. Enti sisi aye wrap up no wasan ababio. Enti ube taking over from here but met na ha na matie because in command me de. Now,
right.
Yeah, I'll wrap up with you. But go ahead, Cindy.
All right.
What questions for Lady Poma? We are wrapping up into maybe just one or two
All right,
questions.
Cindy. That's on way.
Me pacha me hoye pan and pacha wonso e wo hoye. Okay, yeah, then I think there was some 2 questions me person me bisa about I think so personal life compared to music industry na sisi a woman no. Aha. Now me person me bisa say so far we joining music industry no. Lessons being na by now be a see from the marketing get being na when free ma you would want to share to upcoming I can say musicians are almost person mobile on board.
Lessons are machine free mobile say into gospel no just like that.
Okay.
You need to pray and read the word of God. You need to pray hard because spirit tonight tied the spirit behind it. And there are evil spirits are almost also authority gospel music. Into why you're ready say, oh yes, Juma way I was now bomb higher because attacks won't end better. You could see so obi bana fein and you maybe amana when to me and sorry be. And so be yeah no spiritually. And so now would come on ni pay.
Na say we no de honam asem bia animo.
Yeah,
Honam anim. Ade bia should be spiritual when it comes to singing. a comma just the gospel, and I say every aspect of singing, piano, spirituality involved.
I think sir, it cuts across. Adebia opesa we bia obia was spirit backing. Everybody has a spirit behind whatever he or she is doing. In this way, gospel, you should have the spirit of God. Minim says, "San areas if one so omo the omo ye and son omo to me aba out." Me no metete say ebi mo kra ko baby kotete omo kete masoni ade. And me who be there, but I think say it's possible because yeah see ya bebo mpaya omo no so what the omo be ya omo be to rituals on be ya ebe mo omo so din ebe hita.
Okay. Me the entire maybe say me ankasa me a singer. Me tonyum.
Okay.
I'm also an upcoming musician to say I'm just saying che obefa me na one my age.
You're welcome.
Me tonyum. Okay, next question I'm person maybe say how can you balance, how did you balance your private life and your public, me can say expectation social as say what on no or private life, may you sure say you have your own life, and then how I will see who near my fa and I will buy a public in so no, and as a social media and so no, so you've seen certain things into balance anything in terms of one kasa how I will see live your life anyhow a public in so it's who near my fa no. How do you balance the two of them?
Okay. Thank you very much. Me when
Okay.
you say obey public figure. They say what be limelight. Ebi mo show wesuan we a signboard. And
Okay.
sometimes you can go into serious problem. But udru nipa mu a na waka wo haw na hye na wapagya Yesu din. And no, in that sense, no, any kwan say who mommy ye bibi ebebu obi abe mama won say eh Christo som kra say na tie na me na kra anko bi. I believe say udi nyame achi ne de ohaw beba otai beba but show wooden one kasa show won kran before you can also go to other people to preach Christ to them. Minim ye pa say Christo obe wiase na woye n'adwuma no. There was a time ebia na on feeling well, but ojai ni nyina to na enipa ni nti adwuma ni nti na ọkwa abọnten. Enti no eni kwan say uma wo haw kọtọ abọnten ema nipa abesoso ti say bi a betena bi a gospel musician bi waja aware na odi aba social media na yes so wan hwe ye ebese ugidie ebetu obi susu sintidua. Enti e was a woman manage wo in such a way say unconflicted with what you are saying, and let the people know say we ye nipa bibia betumi asi. There are some people like mobile limelight omo say they are holier than thou. Omo no omo sene omo de bibia yo okay ma wo. Sometimes let the people know the reality so that se okohu a ana ebi tuna obehu say ebi amami kan afei na mehu say de esitie. Enti no we gospel musician once we gospel musician there be a shame crying, but let people know say problems wo ho ana say how betumi aba at any time ubetumi afom at any time say be esi a enyo omo.
All right. Yo, and yeah, better was Lady Poma Yamre Nason. MC reporters now already saw the original reports in the brain. But answer near back on me with social media handles and after your pewon you metie ni pa so a himfa and the binye no. I am me yet artist interview. Maybe some say himfa na pesi tie wonyom. Because artists be what pesi tie no was some particular platform be so. Because a honey be a de cash rebre no. On that say.
Okay.
So with social media handles, again, you can see follow, you can say you hear more about you. How do we get to learn more about you? How do we get to follow you on social media? And then how do we get to stream or patronize your music?
All right, thank you very much. It's on say CD ni pen drives be social media ya na continue for now. When you go to YouTube, Lady Poma, oba yeda wase ube hunyum no. The message ni say nipa ni kwa unsubscribe to me YouTube channel. Na on share mame. Na Facebook kwa Lady Pomana Dorothy Ebua. Me di Lady Pomano attach it. E also so ube to me ehumenyum no so TikTok so ube to me ehumehoni na Lady Pomana.
All right, Lady Pomana, you there was CP. Enye nenkwa say emrenity ntimi bisa onsem ni nyina da foforo ebesa afro ni ahyeda pa ani wedi nkomo ye ya pa bibia wo school ni hunoma nyina na ya hyeda pa edi wechi ye pa ye da wase pa say wonya amre edi ma yende
bacho me da wase.
All right. Yo nyamisha so aya Michelle next time who say na make can say Michelle eba ji interview ni so na next time Michelle na mabeji fans kakra. It's next time I remember all your performance. Remember by the front seat. Now, invite me here. Say me second kwadia. But you better kwadia. You intimi amba. You be pobia manaba be your name. Yo, LCP, Lady Poma, gospel artist, beautiful voice. Let's end the interview with this song from Lady Poma.
Oba woni pati biamu obeye wayane ene umianu ya boni itio Yesu do yide mu yedro Yesu do yide mitasi Yesu do yiye awawado Yesu do yide mu yedro Yesu do yide mitasi Yesu do yiye awawado odo yiyo Yarawase Yesu yarawase odo yewe Yarawase so Mediamina wase so Mediamina wase so odo yewe Yarawase so
All right, sound of Lady Poma. Cindy, I don't know what's going on with your connection. It keeps going on and off and everything. But because of time, the interview na besi. We are going to get our reporters in, and then we will get the reports out of the way real quick before we wrap up the show. But before then, Emma formula my for Enana.
Yeah, me wo bibia bi mamo ene.
All right, take it away.
Okay. See, you zoom me right into a formula nana.
Actually, my young reports need to quick. Now you end the show no with a formula, okay? Because me say as a correspondent since so already, but stay on because we're co-hosting. I would need you to be on this segment as well. Let's bring on Justice Marfo for the report. Justice, I didn't know so.
Santana for Hene, that's a brew sable so tossum you know. A dot year and then it that a tossum you know. Muguso Modesha so one of them money bo. A day brain a tea for na and then a dot year no that a tossum you know. And then what titrini and intria or mobile trashia or yenasi be His Excellency former Vice President Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia, followed by Chama Wuntumi. Menkwana menyagana ni menyagana ni game. Oba Hobi. Chama Wuntumi ba Hobi. Boache Jacob. National Organizer for the New Patriotic Party. Henry Nana Boache ba Hobi. And JFK Justin Frimpong Kodua ono so ye General Secretary Edema MPP ono so ba Hobi. Na akonfo so ba Hobi be kire se de omo so omo support de ma saa dot yi no na konfo ba ko aye frɛ no Nana Jasi obi ani mi se penten konfo de enko ye dase bro se bonsu e konfo a o kurum ha na say ye be ye dotie bia na say ye ahemfo bodwa no mo be ye dwumadi bia eya na akonfo no ba ebe goro kakra na
Radio culture.
yeah said you kwa sorry ye open prayer no akonfo no so ba aha akonfo no ba na nkomo so aba be di wom dwuma na we dey ya ma akonfo no kwan ama o ma ndi dwuma no inti Monday no Friday no nsuo toy na Saturday no omo ye nsentwerefo nhia mu nte o ma chichiri nsuo no enya ade nsuo betimi ato na pente konfo yi ne nsentwerefo hia ya na no mudi nkomo na odi tudwa se sabredi o ma chichiri nsuo no na enko empanimfo ma omo kwan kura ko mu ne di ka te ya no ene okasa ya nche bia ade ko 2 hours within 2 hours na nsuo start bubum abusumi wahi nsuo start bubum a nsuo ato asa yie no enti make say e one no eye dot yie na de di kan kura no eye to se no na ene no de awia na boy ma yie no mugusu a omo ye make say na newsroom aye krado a obo first interview no my wobra na jasi pente konfo na ye ne na twetwe nkomo na o kase omo achichire yie na nya de nsuo beto kopem se otumfo be ba besie ne de hye yenti no
Interesting. Ntimami mbisa wait oh enti no omo we ni o ka sawe ye no ena nsuo no to say ade
ena nsuo no to yebza o ka sa no nyame bufui ena nyame se won come nhese won come nhese ho nhese ama nhese no pra no ye wo June busumi mu ne ye wo no ye nsu tobre enti no wontimi nkoka nsuo to ya chichiri nsuo no ama nsuo ato ase ye na ma
net say ye run the test na de no enye dwuma bio na nsen na se de na ekoso
se omu chire mu omu senka e wo senka omu di kan abegoro ebia no ansa no aha enti we no ahemfo no shase ye omu dwumadie no kura ansa na akonfo no so eba honum enti na senka wo senka ai akonfo ni di ka abegoro aha no omu ka bibi chire nyankopon ansa na enko ma hye dwumadi na enso omu ma hye na se dada aha
asi yento aso
aha na aye no gusu a yekoso na ahemfo pii na aba ho no mo a omo abekire omo ni so e de akire asante mampon hema na naja koma di fie otosumienu omo abekire omo ni so na omo ni isu ewo da sebro sebo so otosumienu ne kura na adane nani e de akire ne manfo na eno na eye sompahene a owo asante mampon ono ye da sebro sebo nso sompahene ngwada hene nana agye afiri ye bonsamfo ene ahemfo bi akeka ho berema baafo osi akwan ono so ya pa hene eye da sebro sebo nso ne wofa eno no akonwa no a da sebro sebo nso teso no ne wofa ene apa hene sa ahemfo yi so eka bi se newsroom aye krado a omo interview tu no enfa mmaye
Kwaku ne se da sebre ye ejapa wɔdɔ ne ma wɔdɔ ne kuro ɛdɔ ne man deɛ mede bɛkae no sɛ gye sɛ wante sɛ mpuntuo bi kɔ so anaa yɛnkyɛ biribi wɔ nkran wada anadwo kora daase bere bɛnya ne wo sɛ kɔ ne kɔpere bi ne fa berɛ ma mpɔ man daase bere yɛ obi a ɔdɔ ne ma nyinaa ɔnkyerɛ sɛ kwa ha anaa ɔyiyim ɔdɔ ne yere ne ma ne ne busua nyinaa san sɛ ɛnyɛ ɔno na ɛwo me ɛso wɔde me hyɛɛ ne yam sɛ ne ba ɛnam sompa a na meyi me yam no so no nti nti kakra mɛka no sɛ nyame mfa no nsie yie na nadaroma ɔma yɛ obi a ɔte sɛ daase berɛ ɔbɛdɔ kuro no ɔbɛdwiri kuro no ho na ɔbɛboa ma kuro no atu mpɔn kakra mɛka no
daase berɛ ɔsɛ bɔ nsudeɛ ɛbɛka sɛ meka biribi afa no ɔyɛ bebree na deɛdi kaa no deɛ bɛka ne sɛ na ɔyɛ bɛrima a ne kukoduru paa sɛ asɛm no ɔhu sɛdeɛ ɔse te aseɛ no ne deɛ ɔbɛ sɛ ɔka fa ho no saa pɛpɛ de ɔbɛka fa ho ɔnhwɛ sɛ ɛyɛ so asi anaa ɔbɛte sɛdeɛ asɛm no teɛ no saa na ɔbɛka no nti na ɔyɛ ɔbɛba kokofoɔ wohwɛ galamsey nsɛm a ɛbaeɛ a ɛnyɛ ɔno a anka mabɔmɛma anka galamsey da tu ate sɛ wɔ ha ɛfiri sɛ mineral commission ɛma nkurɔfoɔ bi license bɛbɛte sɛ ɔmommra no ɔmɛyɛ exploration nso nana tumi ɛko yɛ asi saa deɛ no no kwae firi sɛ wonim sɛ deɛ sɛ na galamsey sɛ ntiam sɛ ɔmonya hu sɛ yɛtetere machine baako pɛ aba area hɔ ɛno ano no biara ɛbɛma indication sɛ gold wɔ asase no so nkurɔfoɔ biribi abɛgu aba abɛsɛe asase no kyɛ no nko a wɔyɛɛ no ɔkyerɛ sɛ wɔyɛ ɔsahene amba
ɛyɛ barima abaafoɔ si akwan apaahene ne barima ɔsɛ hwedeɛ ahemfo mmienu ɛna ɔmo si bibi ɛde kyerɛ daase bere ɔsɛ bɔ nsu sɛ na ɔyɛ nipa papapaa na ɔmo pere hwehwɛ sɛ ɔhene foforɔ a yɛde bɛsi na akonnwa soɔ no ɔno nso ne suban no bɛkɔ akɔyɛ sɛ daase bere ɔsɛ bɔ nsu na ɛdura na ɛyɛ the new force Cheddar baha Cheddar nana Kwame bibi ako baha na ne bodyguard baako de ne nsa akɔkeka timamuni baako ama akɔkyɛ TV yɛ sɛ nka yɛbɛkɔ akɔhwehwɛ nipa no nanka yɛatoto na no ne na yɛ interview ɛnkra yɛnya yɛ ne sɛ Cheddar bɛfa abrante no kɔnkran sɛ mo hwɛ video bi a na bodyguard no asɛ no ɔpem no na sɛde osi pem abrante no ama timamufoɔ no sɛ ɔmo hia unqualified apology from Cheddar ama no pay so yɛte yɛ no na Cheddar nso so a release statement na render unqualified apology sɛ ɔsra a yɛmfa nkyɛ no na abrante no a yɛpem no no yɛkɔ sɛ nke kɔ akɔhwehwɛ na yɛse Cheddar asoma me abɛfa no kɔnkran nti nsɛntwerɛfoɔ amayɛ maadwe sɛ mokɔ akɔhwehwɛ abrante no ayɛ ne interview na abɛsɛ ne din no yɛkɔ yɛ ankɔto abrante no nti yɛse amono mu hɔ a no ɔmɔhwehwɛ no ɛma no 2000 Ghana cedis sɛ ɔmfa nkɔsa no ho yadeɛ.
I see. I hope Sen can not the no a hospital not the neko. Yes, so I will find so the new see and I really hope so.
Ama encrophopina yeah, encrophopina do man to say abrante no yam patent na nema no. And so ntia yenya ne say abrante no Cheddar befa no konkran. Nti mama ne but
well
e buy na e de echina ye do ti okrure na obrare nwoma so tumfuo se tutu babio ono na eba na oba besie daase bro se bonsu echina dwo anadwo pa e na omo kwakope daase bro se bonsu krabre.
I see. You better was CP. Cindy, or any questions beyond justice and sana wakwana? Oh, you're muted though. Go ahead.
Oh, many questions via Cheddar nipa nana may concern kaka say oh kono more than a concrine and that means say or no one ama kwayama yedeneko because there is no way Cheddar bit me a forcing it.
Want to be kidnapping in Flamenco. Yeah. And speaking of which, so no, if Cheddar has done that, to me, it's a sign of responsibility, right? We accept responsibility.
Yeah.
First of all, you name say or no catch any bodyguard ni say on yes I no. When people are bodyguarding people, they take their own decisions. Right?
That means say onena kasama.
I believe so. And I'm happy to say why responsibility not to know so, right? Rather than saying kobe salanka wa kokeke without and then kayem no cry. Anyhow.
Yeah.
Yo, Justice Ebedawasi. Ajenudia, Oba Noko. I don't know what is going on. All right. Yo, my end was for now. Cindy, time call far Emma formula nisha suma preko.
Okay. Okay, inti emre ason se yede ema formula enso so eba. Me pacho make me ato aso.
Make me feel so cry. Take it away. You have 10 minutes.
Okay. May ne fast cry. Inti it's time for ema formula. Ini ye ka say ema formula na say ema formula program ne die. Ade bi e fa oba ho emma ho menka ne sa ade bi e fa ma ho bia no ye be discuss e wa ha na say ka emma so a yenim say emma de special nti na ya fa sa program we say ye de ba be church adwentre bi a wo fa emma asem bia ho bia no ubetumi e de aba ha cause ha ade bi e fa oba ho bia na ye be discuss e free ye maame a omo wo dwom so ekosi ye maame mo a omo wo parliament omo nyina ye beka obia ho asem e wa ha sei enti say ye start sa program we na say wo tune in na wo join ya na waka ye ho na ya twetwetwe nkomo kakra e fa ema ho na me gidi say program ne nkwa ewe ye na die na bibia a wonte ase mfa ma ho no emema omo hwe ye nyina nso so munyina mo join a yenwie no na matema bebre ase omo ne omo yerenom ti a omo nte ne ma bebre ase fa omo ho no mo hwe sa ema formula program ya unwie no na ese bibia e fa ma ho no okay inti mention ho I want to start and then your topic ye dey ba ema formula so say the power of her voice na say to me a e wo ema e kasem adenti na ye kasa topic we ye kasa tumi e wo ma kasa mu a yenim se ema anka ne tete ne de na ma de anka ye ka bibia na se ye ya de bia na ye de ya tena menka ne te se eja de ana so meka ne se kitchen e wo brofo kasa mu na anka ye eba education eba a lot of things na omonfa ye nka ho ye de ne se na ye betena kitchen ye de nti ye betena fi na ya totototo ne ema but man nyina opportunity into a lot of things eba education ye opportunity eba farming ye opportunity eba being chief justice ye opportunity even omampanyin die kra no ye opportunity enti that means say ma say ye ne ayede edrechiri ye mfa sha ase free ye mfie mu emma enni fie a ye nim say efie ebe ye basa ye kasa ana siesie fie enye oba bia sa oba bia keke se ye ka oba nso so na se oba o menka ne se nenum kasa eye de oba a ode ahobrase kasa oba a ode nyansa ka ne kasa ho ansa na wo ye de wa alter ready bi opese o alter enye kasa bia keke eti se ye kasa to me a ewo oba kasa mu a enye oba bia keke because minim say emani bi wo hono ma omontete no se bio e wo form kakra enti wo ma omo de menka ne se omo dwene ho ana so omo kasa ede wo mu no enchini wo mu no sa ma no omo ne kasa yesi tumi ye de edi achiri de enti ye kasa ne se ye fa ye ma me mo kra ye ne omo wo fia se ene akra ya wo no akra ya wo na ye tete na ma ne nyine no se we nya ma me mama me na anti ano hwe ne nieme bi antineti ne nieme bi ho a before say obenyi na ne dream a wo nyina na se ne daachi nieme wo ne tim say ankope say obeye no na ne nyina ntimi ambem eye maame kasa ne nkyerɛkyerɛ ne kasa de bi ne ntetiye bi na teatea bi ɛno na eguru yema ema omutimi bɛyɛ den enti sɛ oba no anase maame no entimi enya tumi bi wɔ ne kasa mu anase kasa de bi ankyerɛ ne ma na antete omo in a way a omo betimi abenyina be achieve ade kro omo de ato omo tim so mpɛ sɛ omo achieve a na ɛsɛ omo dreams no entimi embem enti no sɛ maame fo ofi a omo kasa no etimi eboa ema nkra omo daachen a omo de ahye omo tim so mpɛ sɛ omo benyini ye no etimi be musa amayen ebie mu so yefa even with the husbands no so a omo nso the same thing sometimes oba ekasa bi a obeka eya na mpimpi no meta aka sɛ emma bebre no bibi wo ha obo nso obeka sɛ otka bibi kyerɛ ne kunu sɛ opɛ a ne kunu ne mfin no enye bibia sɛ how a obesi a obekasa no nyankopon sheda my ma some special voice bi a ohun say ye de kasa enema bi wo ho no ma nanka ye nsa nka na say ni be ma ne tri mu da say obetumi de ama okra na because of how a obesi a obe ota wo wesa na obesi aka asem no say be ma ne nye na adwen kra da kra na otimi o kasa ne timi ma men kan say o kasa ne timi ma na adwen timi sesa at once se no onye na adwen kra otimi ye eni nyina ejina kwan a obefa so a obekasa because ema ye wasa de ne we ye ho nyankopon de sa de na ye de ama ye nti se wonhu se ne obesi aka wonsem obesi afa so abro wo ho ase akasa obesi afa so esiesie wonsem a obeka obewie no na se be ma no na onye na adwen kra na that is one secret a ewo honom se we hu how a obesi aka wonsem a obi wo honom a how obesi aka wonsem a de nipa no se nipa ne nye na adwesa ade no kobeye kra na oye yenzumi right from esa ma esu a esha ase ye voice a etumi ekọ out nyina no it started from time a yasanto a oba yasanto a etimi di mmemme nim ekọ akon ehọ na ye behu se ma se ye wotumi bi ewo ye kasem na se ye wotumi bi ewo ye mu ase ye call out all out a niema ne de etumi hyehye yi ana se niema ye de esi ani so no etimi bem enti oba yasanto akọ ekodi ma that time na mema oho we have men all around and anko betumi ati ejina say ye boaboa doma no ye nko okon but be omu nyina te dai say omusru ana ya oba ya santo afesi no ene because of sa na ade ya oye enti no baby a ebebo ya santo edi bi akrakra ya wona foforo kra no say ubisa na oba ya santo a onim ne ho asem enam eniema a obeye ye bi a ye de kai no enti say na ye boy ya obaya sanso de baby ebebo ni di be hoye din obia sorry the respect ema no enam anamontu bi a oye de otuye enti sa ways na menka ne say ne niema na oye pv way maaye no ene ede ye dru echiri bebre ye hwe historically say ye hwe some of ye even farmers ye were farmers a omo nyina omo susu timinya award through this omo voice any kasa bi omo kasa e timi kwa achiri and then we have akosia rade they say how would they see me for me phone ke to never me
Radio culture. Radio culture.
All right. I'm not sure what's going on there, but looks like we still have Cindy back one way or the other. We'll try and bring her back to wrap up on Emma formula for us today. Very, very, very serious reasoning going on. And then all of a sudden, I don't know what's going on, but we seem to have lost Cindy. We'll bring Cindy back to you as soon as we have her back on the line. In the meantime, let's go for a short commercial break.
Since 1994, crafting natural products with organic shea butter and red palm oil. All products are available on Walmart.com and Shopify, or visit our website at chrismark.com.
All right, so we have Cindy back. Cindy, please take it away.
I'm sorry, ECG for now. Cost.
Into one CD, no. Let's pay the one CD so that all this will end. All right, go on.
Okay, I was talking about Obaya Santua. Ya Santua ye obia na oye maame. Na osaye a farmer. Na osa eye leader. Ana odi enimu enti the voice a etimi dru akire ni enti no ene amaye bebre nso so yenya akwanya ama yen so ye voice etimi kwa akire ye hu se ema nso so obibi wo mumu a if we allow them in the system and I say ema omo kwan what the decisions are you taking mu na say ebetumi aye de akofa ye fa even in our nations ye wo ema bi so a omutumi eboaye. But before se me ko honom no ye taka mpenifo taka asem bi se oba na oye oman oba na oye oman se ema enni honom a yenim se nyema bebre wo honom a ebetumi ayede akofom because we need the support of women. Omo kase bi omo beka omo adwuni bi eda omo trima they can bring it out to support me can say the nation. Yes, enti yehwe yedwadifo na yehwe yedwuma yekwa yehwe ema na aye bebre wo ho ebi mu nim sede ukọ omo nim dwadi a yeton omo ne ma ne pa omo beka hwe omo say ye kasa so obi wo ho na ukoto ade wo dwadifo ma yi ho a obi wa ne kasa keke etimi ma say ade na wo beto no say wo beto ba akopɛ kra na oto bebre oto more than what you plan to buy ne kasa ha obesi obekasa wo ho obesi a obehoa o ema ade na wo ba beto ne kra say na wonye wadwen say wo beto kra na wo beto and we come market so etimi say ma mefo bebre na ho ema nko a obehu mema na kakra bi enti we kire say senka mani yes system yi mu a anka ye beye dey eno nti na ema formula ye de saa enkomotwetwe se eba ye kọ ye journalism so side so a yenim se ma bebre ene omo a ne di sa adwuma ma ye omo voice ne dru akire ema the government say how bi wo ho no ma omo te how a oba bi kasa obeka how obesi akasa how a obesi aputi ne wese no se wuntie kra na obetie se wunti onye wadwen say nsem na wo ka no obetie kwa na how obesi a obekasa no ekire se tumi ewo ye kasa mu eno ntina enne ema nyina omanya akwanya aba journalism mu no omoboa ma all your worries ema worries ne ye how I wo man nyina no they are the ones that carry it across for us ema empanimfo no so omote edi hu dwuma ma yen ye kwaya politics aside which I'll end with that ye wo oba hanatete no a former minister for foreign affairs and then regional integration or you're known for a global leadership and regional peace building. Yes, Asha ye wakosia frima or say or parion so no a first female chief justice na ono so chief of staff no so under president Nana Akufo-Addo no advocate ma into ono so enne na ekuta no nso so tumi e woni nim no through say obeye a chief justice no ono so eboa ma ye niema bebre na ye hia no as women no etimi dru echima ye wo Joyce Bamford Addo ono so ye first female speaker of parliament and then man nyina timi enya akwanya enso so aye speaker of parliament that means say tumi e wo ye nimu eno ntina yetumi enya asa akwenye ya ye wo first female of speaker of parliament to be a female. Yes, ana ye wo ama ata edu me sure say ye mu bebre enim no ama ata edu ono so ye one of a renowned writers ye nim say wa treasure nema bebre wa boy nema bebre wa treasure books bi to say in the chest of a woman and also wa treasure nema bebre how a ma enioma esitie ono so no ye Ghana's former minister of education. Yes, it is a shame so ye koye farmers side honom ne nso so a ye wo ma bebre omo sutumi nya awards ene sa enkrofo yi nyina omo kasa anase me kasa tumi e wo omo kasa mu no edru echire ema ye recognizing ma say ye nso so ye tumi eye nyoma bebre asa ye yi free ma enye yi ye wasa ade bia no omo de ye ka ho yes ade bia omo ye wo system yi bia no ma nso so hi
Right move, do it. Right move, do it.
Culture.
Okay, looks like Cindy Cameron Freezy, but I think that she was practically just wrapping up. And I just wanted to comment her on a beautiful message. I particularly like the title of her piece today, The Power of Her Voice. And I just want to make a quick point. Say sometimes the power of the woman's voice, is silent. Sometimes they don't even speak. But the power that they can discharge is incredible. And I wanted to also mention, I wanted to make special mention of Madame Esther Oklu of Nkulenu. She's been an amazing pillar of woman representation. Sometimes, like I say, we think about the politicians and all that, but we should also look at civil society and see some of the amazing women who have made strides in our community. And I think Madame Esther Oklu Oye Nkulenu is one such person. All right. And with that, no yanko Nana Baffour, Nana Nimo Baffour Akrepim Ajenodia. Na yam kojin report in fan sorry so. Nana, 10 minutes fire call. Dear Nekos will be a one. Nani fire call.
Yeah. Mpanin sɛ da biara yɛte nsɛm foforɔ sɛ adeɛ kye na yɛante asɛm foforɔ na ɛka me yɛ sɛ adeɛ nkyee ne sɛ nti wada ama ras me ma ɔmu ɛpiafo wɔ adwuma so.
Right move, do it.
Radio culture.
Okay, so as you can see, we are having that special problem now. You're tiny, but Nananimo will come back and then we will continue and wrap up the show.
Right move, do it.
Radio culture. Radio culture.
All right. Nani mo yanko.
Wadaroma ne ntam so sɛ yɛboaboa nsɛm ahodoɔ ano ɛde ba bɛsom yɛahwɛfo a na nahyɛaseɛ ni ɛna no ɛna ɛbɛtɔ dwa wobɛsonwan a bra akonnwa a ɔwɔ sonwan kurobie mu tɔɔyɛ na ɛwɔ sɛ nananom ka wɔn tiri sɛ ho na ɔpɛ obi obitumi ahwɛ gye sɛ mpɛ ne sɛ ntifo ne hɔ apagyafoɔ hɔ na ɛkɔyɛ nsɛm nko ne nsɛm amba yɛ a bɛka sɛ ɛnni kora a yɛka sɛ yi ɔhema a ɔwɔ sonwan kurobie mu abɔ mmɔden apagya asɛm no de akɔdan National House of Chiefs. So one more the antenna said, na asemi or no musuko and ye na on fe ye and 2 years. Na or hina or I because I do na jena tumu sunyan, kunya sasa so another sunya mountain so a ye or German sign or therefore German sign boy koko. Ya or tosuminu. Na bride then anato see a kunya swing and na or yes, baby be or what tune didn't say a children's park and so. Ukwa wonje de hu ade bia e no kyeresa mpa aha ye children's park ya se bibro be ka se wona wadwene mu ka won e na wonante nante hodi ho akwaneaba na santi bra Ohene wode ne to eka akunya na waye se obebo modern asisi ho ama se de kasa ho ye children's park no mo fa tumi akwa akodi agro na santi hye no beto dwa se enura memeni na obefiri saa adwumadi na se de obehye ase de mofra ko akwajo omani na wotwe na mu na beto dwa se de wono egina wo se osoafo wo hwe bonomantam ha eyo onunyamfo Joseph akobo ade so otia na nanchi ko anyi sa bochimam na bro beduru ha no hu se nipa bi efrase a saa bia ho de wudi ho atrantwie ye ho adwuma na obopini won e ma wote ase se ye ho adwuma no enye aban de anase enye omampe nananom atena nkonyade enti wontumi mfa bibibia enkoso anase wontumi adwuma bia wo so enti wonfa adwuma no nyina to fam na bras me beto odwa no anokwa ene mpanin se senzo bo akasebo nkase pampame sunyaman tutu enwum yi asem yi asere ne abasa ya wona otena radio so wona otena television so tutu bi adema osoafo yi de ene na ye pani behwe na ne nyina mu no dwumadi ana odefo oje amansan bo kokko a wo yesu nyaman na ahyehye se enra memene ye bekoso no dwumadi no koso ne mom se osoafo a wono ene hye boromantam ha so otu ho na monse won tena ase emma obi anya adwuma e wo saa children's park ho no saa se mi mrekọ anum na ebehu saba de osofo ika yi no ebekoso aye adwuma ana se nananom ebeje asase e de aye ejapade bi ompese omode ye na sunwan mo ntenso nsem ba ko a etwagu no na mentu fansa no makode bre se wotu an nsem debu na memfa ahwefo nyina enkodoma yekodoma na yekodoma central ankane aban na musini mekire ankane mra district chief executive ewo doma central onuanyamfo subonten garden ena wode afutu emaga na manyina sa mpanin sasa bieburu dofo ho adofo nsai wode dokudi akora brebia na da na odo ne santi enoba obaga na monten so a etumu se mabunu dodo na no enubone ena wono no monti ama dodo na brabo sai ababa wa na asa branta wenyi nduru bebia no bohu na nadwum ka no obi so krampo no se nya nadwum ne ka no a na ohu ne se wode oso chen obi enti na akogina kwa hu de nyambrasem bi enti osre Ghana fo nyina se de efrase a ekoso Ghana monten so no nyina yemfa ya nansi fam de oye nsantroni de oye ohene de oye ohema de oye sofopani de oye chief mem obi anfa na ntumbi na nubone no ma enne age atredua na sa age ntrehi o Ghana monten so yen kasa nkyere ho yen tufo na yen ka yema enne ye mofre nyina ani mumfa ho na yen kyerɛkyerɛ nkwampa obetumi afa so na atumi atwe wo ho afiri sɛ nubone mu ho ankobasa Ghana daachi bi no yadam so na ye nan egu abonten na asɛm a ankane aban na musini onunyamfo esubonten garden ɔde tu dwa no na ne ntam so menkɔ Pru West na yɛkɔ Pru West ni sɛ Pru West de ɛyɛ Bono East mantam ho na asɛm a beto dwa a yɛde ɛsom yɛahwɛfoɔ ne yɛtiefo nyinaa ne sɛ sɛde yɛnim sɛ na wɔtwe ba bɛsi mu yi ɛyɛ ne wukuada ɛna yɛma ɔkɔgye nteteɛ ɛwɔ junior high schools ahodoɔ mu ɔbɔ mmɔden atwe wɔn pen ɛne wɔn krataa ahodoɔ akɔtwerɛ final exam sɛ yɛ BECE ne sɛnti na ɛwɔ sɛ adasa keka wɔn nsa sɛdeɛ mmeresanti na naasɛ mfie twam wɔyɛ ne naa pɛpɛpɛ afei mu nso na ɛwɔ sɛ wɔyɛ ne saa pɛpɛpɛ ne sɛnti ɛna ekuo bi a wɔnhyɛ aban ase yɛ a wodin ne agye ne mboaten akɔwɔ ankasa wɔn kɔfɛsim abɔ mmɔden atɔ ma set ahodoɔ a ɛbɛyɛ apem akyiripɔ ɔha aduonum 1150 sɛ mmɔfra a wakɔgye ntete wɔ junior high schools ahodoɔ mu yɛ wɔkɔ akɔtwerɛ BECE no district no mu no deɛ wɔnkyɛ ma obiara ɛnya bi sɛdeɛ ɛbɛyɛ a obi a ebi anka sikasɛm masa tetɔ bɛyɛ den pɛn na ɔde bɛkɔ akɔtwerɛ empo eraser ne pencil ne ɛho korɔ ne mo a enka ɛbɛboa ma na de sua okosua ayɛ na ɛna ɔde kɔ awie ho bɛyɛ den ama no ontumi mfa moa na ɛno nso ɛnyɛ mbrɛma no na ohu sampa ɔno nso so ɛwɔ kyitaafoɔ bi a ɔtaa na kyisa nsɛm pɛne sɛ etuo hɔ yi ɛnyɛ kyiginafoɔ a ɛna ɛbɔ na wɔ saa asɛm kuro yi ahomekyerɛ sɛ yɛma ɔkɔ akɔtwerɛ BECE ya ho ɛna takyiman so aban na musini ɔkɔ nso so abɔ mmɔden a atɔ ma set afei sɛ de bɛyɛ amɔfra akɔ na bɛdi so koraa bitumi ayɛ fɛ na ayɛ kama nti wasan so masane said the bear what they need ya or she saa so hwe okwa etwa to okwa twere mu yi bituma fa ne top franso wo so wasene ama bibia nso etumi akototen na wadaroma na ensama hodo eboaboa no ebre ne nti said the penisa ne ekwa atane ba atane gina ho one ne atantrodo no na wiye ni na kura no bra wade osaje fo ose ade Dr. Jemambedu do mama hene to ka konwa se do mama hene enei ena wenya infrinja mako aduonu miensa aduonu nsia 26 ne sente na wose obo moden di ho anniversary na mpa obo moden di na ni dia wodi mu se de nyina ye nim na adwumaso no na adwumabra na wo ye de boa doma kurudua ne monten ene enkura hodo atwa ho ahia obo moden ato ntama hodo echini enkura atwa doma ho ahia echeche ntoma ma ye ma menom afeye nuanom maba awase de beya obetumi nya bidie kata ho no nso kura de aye nkae dum se na mfrinhia mako aduonu nsia wanya wo osaje fo ose ade Jemambedu adwa so yi ono nso de wade ma wo no enu achi ena ono ankasa sanso kan ne manfo ho eboa ma osisi kro no monten gatesa hodo titim aprapra hodo enya doma monten ko enkura hodo a etwa doma ho ahia de ya ebi ne masu kofie sua ene de ka ho nyina no obomoden akọ ekosisi ose de beya yade bi so kra mpo enkofiri ya ho ne dia enkoyi mu emma na emeka doma monten so ni senti wadaroma na amanebo ahodo amede besom yahwefo ne atifo oboroma ntamu ne bono akuye no na wiye ni
ya beda wasipi na animo wabo adwuma pa edase na cashew sam no yen santina subio sanse se ka cashew hu sam a ngi se media house bia ho betimi ene esi akan yen ene agisa asem ne si stress so se pese ye hwa edi eni de cha kosisi be hu se cashew board no aba in place na otwe ase minu ye twemu ya meti se mampanyi kosra doma hene no sa cashew board ne ho asem kopie ho oti hu bibi
no kra cashew board no ho asem kopie ye na empanin sasa biebru foku ade ya na wopen mbra me no kasa ye okodoma wabo modien si factory kese a ne nyina fa cashew ho na omampanin ba ye no opese nka obabo modien twa ho mfoni akyere nenso adaje ne nti wontumi ankwa koye nenso ne nyina mu no obo modien aka ho nsam kyere ne se wo twen se de be ya cashew board no betumi gina bra ne efiri se oba bromantam se de bia ye ka no oba bromantam a ade titire ba ko a anase eboa kuya emakuya ye fesika tum firi mu ba pa cashew yi ne santi na okoso aka ne se mpanin se de gya wane de aso enjoma na ninku ho enti obo omampani abeti se cashew board ne de ya ade a eda kuyafo na koma so pa kuyafo ne titire akuyafo no titire ena fe atofo no so kra aka ho bi efi so su se cashew board ne ba se de ne koko bo eba ifra ban mu na eba no cashew board no so ba ibi fra ban mu aba no bi so kro mpo ntumi nkoye frakadam bia wo nchen emfa danko medane emeda emfa agenjira meda ya so kwa bia enti se bo no koye series no mu a na ba bia befa bia no eye series no nanso isansa aban enkoduru aban mu ma wonte ho board nti okọ baby a series mienu okọ baby nso series mienu na chese baby for fili chain baby for enti wadama cashew board no wani gusu e de akira o ka o mampani so o hwehwe na o ma nani enko ofiri se foku ade openemrobra
ya beda wasipi na animo yeni gusu a edi akire na ye wo akuafo na fa de bebo akuafo no eno na yenso so ye pe na ye hu so se aban no I'm saying they need the chase of Bema Sadia no akoso. Yo, any you better recipe now what you say ne you be saying she abio any and some for the babre.
More powerful.
Yo, any you should be And that's how we wrap up the show for today. It's been my absolute pleasure sitting in the seat for today. Next week, God willing, same time, we'll be back with another version of the live stream. Until such times, we're drawing the curtain down right now. All right, as I would say, let's end the show with a song from Ni Lante. Until next week, my name is Kwesi Son back home. Goodbye.
Let's do something bad. I'm gonna dance with you. Let's do something bad. And I go pour it on you. Let's do something bad, really bad. And I go rush. Let's do something bad. Let's do something bad. I want to touch your back, scar. Let's do something bad. See, we already crossed the line, baby. My weekend crush. Dada, they won't check our pass. Why? One weekend crush. Dada, they won't check our pass. Baby, I go see you in Ghana. Baby, don't you wanna blow my vuvuzela? Baby, see you wanna be a singer. Tackle with the tiwa like the shin guard. Oh, baby, I will see you in Ghana. Baby, don't you wanna blow my vuvuzela? Baby, see you wanna be a singer. Tackle like a steward with your shin guard. Let's do something.